Today is the beginning of the end and the start of a new beginning. Time has come to refine yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will feel free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you are the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a I don't give a fuck. 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 It's time to start doing the right thing. So trust your instinct, stop listening to others, and own your decisions. People will always tell you what to do, opinions how to live. So let's create space for what matters most to you. You'll be glad you did. Now start reclaiming your time and your mental well-being by saying no more. No more. Say it loudly and proudly. In other words, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike, you have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
That's right, folks. Mature audiences only. Everybody be cool. All right, be cool. How's everyone tonight? We're about to get into this debate. Debate land, debate mode, Depeche mode. Fuck, I don't know. It's going to be some shit, I can tell you that. It's basically looks like we've got, let me roll into this for you. Let me roll this up. So far, looks like we got, oh, hang on. I got to figure out how to do this shit again. All right. So we got Tyler, average debate enjoyer. We got Wick. Yeah, that's right. Fucking Wick. God damn it. We've got me, Gibbs, someone named Charlie, which I think is a girl. Ico, whatever, you know. Another leftist. A bunch of leftists tonight. Got a bunch of them. So who else is? I think that's it. I think we got. I think that's kind of the all timers, right? Tyler, Iko, me, Gibbs, and this fucking Charlie. All right, so it's Enemy Charlie, Wick TV, Prime Kai, who I can't get enough of him this week. Pentuplarial, know what the fuck that is. Average Debate Enjoyer, Iko Rich, and me. All right, it's going to be lit. I'm going to tell you right now. What's up, Agripolis? How are you, dude? Yeah, appreciate that. Last night I was kind of slumming it. I had the leather jacket and the fedora on, so I was had to get the jacket, the hat, all the good shit, man. All the good shit. All right, so good to see you, Tiki Tack. Let's roll down to see who's here. I'm going to be honest with you. K2 keep on trucking, man. That dude just lit it up. As soon as I went live, he was there. I don't know why my background is so fucking grainy. I don't know. I'll check my focus here in a second. Let's see. I started early tonight because I wanted to chat with you dudes before we went in. Let's see who else was here. Joseph Romano stopped by earlier, left a comment. Anson Knowles was here. He's probably out catting around. Mr. Boulay in the Department of Numismatics is in the house. TVT, the Eventual Truther, Tiki Tack, Agropolis. Yeah, I saw that. You guys are out there in the chat tonight. It's gonna be good. The debate doesn't start until 7:30. I got to pay attention a little bit so that I can get these. See, whatever, how the fuck we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it. I think it's gonna be another fucking Twitch or Twitter, Discord bullshit. F and Epic, how you doing, buddy? You doing all right? Cool, man. Cool. All right. So let me. I'm gonna cam down one sec. You guys. I should throw some music on. I'm just gonna cam down for a second so I can adjust this focus just a hair. Give me one sec.
Agrolepolis donated $19.99. Super chat. Going to be here as long as I can. For the grift bud.
So I heard the TTS come through. That was legit. There we go. Now I'm back. Still kind of grainy on my end. That's all right. It's fine. Mr. Boulay coming in hot. There we go.
Mr. Boulay in the Department of Numismatics donated $10. Super chat. This intermission of an unreasonable man with Grid 1 is sponsored by Tactical Soap, a Grondike soap company. Stay clean with Grid's Musk, the soap that cuts through feminism funk.
Try Tactical Soap today. So I got to get that. I got to get that character count fixed. All right, guys. So normally, or not normally, we were supposed to be doing the second episode of my Redemption Arc series. Unfortunately, Glenn's out of town. He's being a dude, being a Chad, being a fucking monster out there, helping his buddy, doing what he's supposed to do, and getting it done. Dude's a legend. He's a legend. He could be here with me, streaming, having fun, doing the cool shit. Nah, he's out there. He's making it happen. He's helping his buddy. It's what life is about. And so we've got, I'd love to say that, Glenn was going to be here and everything, but unfortunately, he's not. He's not. Also, Michelle, I think Michelle is just doing okay. I need to check on her. She seems very upset about this thing with, what's his dick, Rollo Tomasi and Glenn and all that, and just all this aggression that's been going on lately. So the, it's an interesting thing. So we're gonna have to put the redemption arc off for a week. It's and or maybe two. I don't know. We'll see. But in an effort to not disappoint my audience, in an effort to bolster relations across the aisle, people like me, successful, wonderful people, reaching across the aisle to the degenerates of the world. Let's go. We're going to do a debate tonight. The subject tonight is Gibbs presents Give Me a Break. What is the real State of the Union? Now I want you guys to understand that last night, those of you who were watching last night will already know that during the debate last night, where we did get a rage quit, the young lady just, she couldn't take it. She had to punch out. It's understandable. It's not a man. Anyway, so she punched out early, and the reason that she had to punch out is because everything I fucking said was true. I told her, I said, that tree bullshit's bullshit. Right? Like, I know people in the lumber industry. I deal with this shit all the time, and this is a real deal. And then I said, well, let me tell you about tariffs. See, every other country in the fucking world tariffs us. We don't tariff them. Now, that ain't fair, dog. That ain't fair. When I gave her the example of how Japan specifically fucked us over on Japanese cars. Japanese cars are brought into this country with no tariff. But if we tried to export American cars to Japan, they fucking tariff the shit out of them. That's not fair. That's not fair trade, motherfuckers. All right. So she didn't believe me. She didn't think that was a big deal. Okay, all right. So the next thing was I said, they talked about that we offshored the chip production. I said, no, Trump didn't do that. Biden did that. Trump said, no, motherfuckers, you can't offshore our chip production. Biden comes in, offshores it to Taiwan. Trump says we're bringing it back. So, and I said, no. I said, we can bring that back, and we will bring that back. And I said, the whole thing about tariffs that you have to understand is they are not just production protection. It's literally the way we get shit done. So, it's a very interesting thing. And Trump, in his speech last night, an hour after I said all that shit, here we go. Trump said everything I said. They're gonna feel like fucking idiots because I'm gonna take my parade lap after lap after lap after lap last night. I'm gonna fuck them up tonight because I told them all this last night. Fucking tariffs. You don't understand tariffs. You guys, you ain't ready. You ain't ready. Mister, did I not say everything last night? I was like on it last night. Everybody's like, they didn't believe me. They're sitting there looking like they've never heard a fucking word come out of my mouth. And it was great. I'm gonna but now I do have to warn my chat. I have been asked to be a little respectful. These are Twitch streamers. They're not used to big bad men. They're soy. They're up in the fields. So I have been asked. I was recruited for this mission, by the way, because I can speak softly and carry the big wang. You know what I'm saying? So, and so that's what we're going to do tonight. We're gonna. Look, guys, I was specifically recruited for this mission because I can destroy them with kindness. What's up, Imperious? I see you. It's not a pastor grid, bro. It's just you know, I have a thing about button-up shirts, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me. I don't, you know, I just have a thing about that. So I'm going to kill them with kindness tonight. I might get a little heavy-handed if they look. Now, if they come off as bitches, you know, it's going to be what happens here is I will mirror energy exactly tonight. Now, normally I play. You guys have seen me. I can go either way. I just, you know, I'm looking for that. What you know, what's going to be necessary. Whether I need to destroy their entire worldview or whether we can just have a conversation tonight. What you're going to see is me destroy their worldview, mirroring their exact energy. And that's what's going to happen, guys. Now, I will not, once we get rolling, I'm not going to be able to address the chat. I'm not going to be able to grift. So please, guys, if you enjoy watching me destroy liberals, these libtards, they deserve it, especially Wick. Wick jumped in last night, and you notice, you guys didn't watch this last night. Let me tell you, and I'm saving this a little bit. I'm going to save a little bit of this for this week, for Saturday night's shit-talking extravaganza, because we're going to talk some shit. But Wick jumped in after the girl rage quit. Now, I thought I was going to get that rage quit. Let me sidebar. I thought that was my rage quit. I thought I set her up. I was ready. I was going in for the kill, and Gibbs sniped her off. I already had her primed. She was ready to go. Gibbs got the rage quit. I didn't get the rage quit. I didn't, you know, I really wasn't aiming for the rage quit initially because I kind of thought that she was going to be good faith, but then she started being a stupid liberal, and then I was like, fuck it. Let's see if we can push this bitch to rage quit. And yeah, these are Twitch streamers. They're not used to it. You know, they're not out here in the streets. They're not out here in the mean streets of YouTube. Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, so it's going to be all time tonight, guys. I mean, but anyway, so last night, you know, Wick jumps in after the rage quit. I'm trying to have a conversation with this nut job, and hang on, I got to jump in the Discord here. So I'm trying to have, we're trying to go back and forth. Now, you notice that when I said, the fuck is his Discord laid out? God damn, this is retarded. There. All right, I gotta mute myself over here. All right. So last night, Wick jumps in, and I start making all the proper points about why Putin was antagonized into the war by Zelensky. Wick looks like he's never heard this shit before in his life. I don't understand how fucking stupid people are these days, but man. I got to jump in over here, guys. $2 comes in from K2 Keep on Trucking. Defeat the P word #grift. Got you, bro. Ticky Tack, if you want to jump up and try and hammer this stuff, that'd be cool. Anybody wants to moderate?
going to run him, right?
No, the party's got to go through a inner, and my side, which it does represent the vast majority of left-wing voters, needs to push the leftists out and say enough is enough. Take your gender bending and get the hell out of here.
Get the hell out of my school, my child's school.
Basically, the Democrats need to put the children to bed on their side. And when they do that, they will win elections because the right wing isn't going to be able to put their children to bed because they've taken over the party.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
The emotional, visceral response of Trump, in a way, represents more of a...
But it's shrinking. You know that group of people's dying, and the normies are starting to realize how insufferable they are, too.
Yeah, for sure. If Trump can expand his base past his insufferable mega group, maybe he outlasts this, but... I think, in a way, the insane asylum has been run by the committed, or whatever the fucking phrase is, with the MAGA people taking over the GOP from the neocon. But that's because I'm pro-neocon, so...
I think I'm a paleocon, huh?
I mean, you tell me. I mean, go look it up and tell me if it fits you. I
think it does. When you're describing it, I was like, yeah, I don't chase GDP over like the benefit. Like I want things to be better at home than like just we have to grow, we have to be a world power, we have to be the number one. And I'm like, no, I want to take care of ourselves first.
But that could be
neocons kind of are like, we have to maintain global dominance. That's the most important thing. And I'm like, I don't think it's the most important thing. I want to, though.
You got to make sure NatCon and PaleoCon both come to those conclusions on different levels. One of them's more of a national American identity that sometimes veers into being white. Okay. And the other one does it based more on merit of the country.
Okay. So just to let you guys know, in about 10 minutes, I got to get food out of the oven. So I'm going to be running away. I'm not running from any of y'all, right? But I'm going to be getting up, running away, and grabbing food.
He's running away.
We're all fucking...
He's running.
Just FYI, letting you know. Okay.
Wick, you have been glowing lately. That butt in your oven is showing.
It's true.
This is beautiful. I'm so happy for you.
Wick, you've been getting yourself in drama lately.
Always. Okay.
Oh, it's fun. I'm just a neutral standby observer. I did come at you on Twitter though for your XRP thing, dude. I'm big on XRP. Oh, had you never heard of it before then? I'm not trying to like come at you right now. I'm just curious, like if you
trying to come at me right now.
Shit, I don't know about Bitcoin shit. So
okay, all right. I was just wondering because like I'm super big in XP. So when they made that announcement about the strategic reserve, that was like something I'd been like talking about with my like crypto investors for like months.
Yeah, but my problem is he got the exact ones that the dude who was advising him had. Like it's like if you own stocks and then the government decided to buy all the stocks you own and shoot the price up. That's
fair.
I have with that
shoot them up
the transaction.
Well, that could be fair, but like
insider trading.
He's obviously going to meet with the people who are running the crypto projects before we add them to a strategic reserve, right? Like he doesn't want to not have met with the people or not have like received like some sort of advice from the people that are going to be in charge of the products
to buy these, right? It's the guy he appointed to like.
Well, I've been hearing that Ripple's going to like gift XRP to the strategic reserve, which is like a whole. I mean, it's a whole crypto thing, but like, I mean, I don't know. I think as far as I'm aware, like it seems all as normal to me because I think XRP is going to be what banks use to like help transfer money. But I'm not the most technical. I'm not trying to get in the whole crypto derail here.
I don't have the data in front of me right now to really.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I would look into it though. You might be interested to look into it.
So, let's see. I'm just looking from my end what I need to do. I should hit start.
But while he's looking at that real quick, I would say I source about 40% of my views from neoliberal technocrats, and that's why I call myself that. But if you look at some of my views, man, they come from some really weird places on the political spectrum sometimes.
Is that just sometimes just because you want them to?
No, just because this is what I decided to like, and then I look at like where it technically fits on its own. Like this one specific policy view I like, and it's like, wow, that would actually be classified as like this and this, even though I'm that and that.
Oh, Admiral's here. All right, you guys remember what I told you, okay? Just don't tell everyone.
Don't do that tonight. Come on.
I'm just kidding. You know I'm kidding.
All right, here's what we're gonna. All right, just a couple things before we go live. I'm waiting on Charlie. She should be any minute. I just talked to her. Nice fit, by the way. There, Grid. Love it. Big fan. Oh, okay, cool. Well, the rule, y'all. Some of y'all have been on my panels before. Some of y'all haven't. We're gonna do things a little. We're gonna try a different setup today. What we're going to do for intros, I'm going to server mute everybody. I'm going to come to y'all one at a time and unmute y'all then. And we're going to like give you a little one-liner for y'all's intro that I've written out. And then y'all are going to I'm going to just ask y'all to say whatever else you want to say. And then we're going to go through and just say what you want about y'all's channel. And then we're going to come back around and we're going to do intros for the topics. And we got a bunch of topics. So let's try to if we want to talk I'm okay with exchanges, but raise hands and I'll get to you. And
I let everyone else know, Gibbs, but I'll let you know in about probably about 5 minutes now. My alarm will go off for my food, and I'll need to run up, grab my food, and come back. So
you're fine. We're waiting for Charlie anyway before we really kick this thing off. She said she'd be here in a second. So yeah, you got 5 minutes anyway. We'll start 5 minutes late, but yeah, that's the plan. So I'll come back to y'all and we'll do intros again. And then, like I said, raise hands if you want to talk. Some exchanges are good, but try to let people finish. I don't want this to turn into a goddamn total shit show. Okay. But if it does, whatever.
Anyone mind if I go live on my end? They'll be able to see and hear you. Is that fine?
Yeah, go live now. That's fine.
Good.
Go live in a second. I'll be right back.
I'll just I don't know, mute myself or something while I do this. Hold on. Well, gang, we are live. I'll mute myself so no one else has to listen to me bitch and moan here. Give me a second.
It's real quiet.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still getting set up.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm just sitting here in silence, just thinking, how am I gonna open? I like the speech. The speech was good. Get dunked on.
Hey, I got a few beers in you. Let me worry about getting you open, baby.
He said we have a bunch of topics. Do you guys know the topics? I have no idea what these topics are.
Oh, I was told the State of the Union, and I was gonna go with solid
I just
matter.
told to show up and look good. I did both of those things.
Okay.
I'd smash. Okay, finally, we fucking lost. This game went way longer than I thought it was gonna.
How's everyone doing?
I'll just have this in my mouth the whole time, Druid.
Well, I'm always great when you're here.
Well, we'll see. Does anyone know what we're talking about tonight? I don't even know what we're talking about tonight. Go be real.
XRP. No, I'm just kidding.
I think this is in part revenge panel for last night.
No.
What do you mean revenge panel? What happened last night?
Wick, where'd you get that burglar hoodie, man?
Gibbs and Grid were on my show, and I guess I don't know why they call it a revenge panel.
I don't feel like we need revenge. If anything, it's a sympathy deal.
Okay.
Wick, where'd you get that burglar hoodie, man?
Oh, I've had this hoodie for a long, long time. It's my favorite. It's very comfortable, so I wear it all the time. All right.
Yeah, it looks like you could do some real black bag stuff with that.
Exactly. I'm a menace. It's true.
My fiance said be on your best behavior. She's watching.
Your fiance watch my show often?
She better not.
Wonderful. This is great. Awesome. Everyone's doing good. Everyone's having fun. Yeah.
Yeah, still getting set up. I'm a little late.
Give me just 1 second. Sorry. I'm on like a really evil sleep schedule and I kind of just woke up.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Why isn't your fiance allowed to watch my show? My audience wants to know.
I'm just kidding.
What else was he going to say?
I don't know.
All right, guys. Perfect. Yeah, I'm just going to server mute everybody real quick so we can do an intro, and then we'll be all on each all as we go.
Your audience.
All right. I hope everybody's ready. Welcome to another episode. Oh, wait, let me unmute this shit. That'd be helpful. Welcome to another episode of Give Me a Break. We have a fantastic panel tonight to discuss the real state of the union after Trump's amazing congressional events yesterday. I'm sure there's going to be some hot topic and opinions. We have a wonderful panel. Let's go to one of the strongest MAGA supporters, which is actually a center lefty, Average Debater. Tell us who you are, where to find you, what to do.
Tyler, average debate enjoyer. I make really boring content about things that most people don't care about. Right now, we're working on a housing policy I thought up, getting left and right wingers to participate in it. It's super nerdy. If you don't care, then more power to you. But if you do, come check me out. Otherwise, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, average debate enjoyer.
Thanks, fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, from center lefty to the reason why I'm in Twitch poll at all, the first guy who gave me a chance here, it's Wick TV. So if y'all hate any of my takes, it's all his fault. Go ahead. What do you do, Papa?
Well, my name's Wick. I host a show called Wick TV. It's a debate show where we have debates. That's my show. That's me. Here I am.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for being here, Wick. Appreciate it.
My alarm went off. I'll be right back.
Great. Enjoy. Grab your food. But to the other guy who gave me a chance here at Twitch poll, another wonderful lefty, the host of the Reverie, and which one I'm on every Monday, and All Black Everything, Mr. Prime K, K's himself.
Well, thanks for having me here. Shout out to my good friend Gibbs for inviting me to this. But my name is Prime. I do panels such as this. You'll find Gibbs on my panels Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern, but we do other panels. So come check me out on YouTube or Twitch at Prime Kai. So PRIMECAYES. If you enjoy what I do here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. To another one of my favorite writers, we have Mr. Grid One Motorsports. Tell us who you are, what you do.
I'm Grid One Motorsports. I do commentary, some debates. I have a show on YouTube that's decent, I guess. I don't know. And that's kind of what I do. I just talk shit on the internet. Hope to get paid.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. To the head of the unofficial MAGA headquarters and one of my favorite lawyers, Pintable TV.
That's right. I am the self-declared head of MAGA headquarters here on Twitch, and we also stream baseball in the summer. So baseball and politics, mostly on Twitch, right here.
All right, thank you so much. And finally, last but not least, we have Miss Enemy Charlie, one of my favorite members of the Cute House, and according to Modi201, his future wife, based off what I saw on TwitchCon. I know she probably hates me for saying that, but we all saw it. We all saw him get married. But thank you so much for being here. Tell us who you are, what you do.
No, thank you for having me. Hello, I just woke up. I stream on Twitch. I talk about politics sometimes, but mostly I don't actually know what I do. I do stuff. My background is not in politics. It's in fantasy literature. So I'll be honest with you. I'll try to keep up. I'll do my best, but I could tell you more about Tolkien than I could about foreign policy.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, so I guess today's the Hobbit. We're going to talk about the congressional address. I guess to start, it's kind of going to be a little bit of a moving topic. So if I start talking, y'all try to let me get in here so that we can, just for order, and move maybe to the next topic if something's played out for a while. Because there was a lot of stuff in there. Let's start with a general appraisal. Y'all can just give intros of what y'all thought over everything. We'll start with the same order we went in here for that. Average debate, enjoy.
So we're talking about the State of the Union?
Yeah, let's talk about the congressional address.
Yes.
The real State of the Union.
Yeah, it's the State of the Union. I think generally the speech, like if you watch like a lot of Trump speeches, there's nothing there you haven't heard. Like even the jokes, the Marco Rubio getting 99 votes joke has been verbatim said by him. I think I've heard it 6 times. Generally, like it's the exact same speech you hear at his rallies and all these different things he goes to. It's pretty canned. Generally, though, like he was elected, the State of the Union, I think, is pretty strong always. I think almost everything is hyperbole in politics, and almost every president was pretty damn good in the last 25 years. So I think we're all doing great, and everyone's just got their panties up in a bunch. So,
all right, thank you so much, Mr. Wick TV.
Okay, so first of all, it was the longest State of the Union address on record, at least for the joint session of Congress. That man can talk paint off the walls. It was boring. I think if I had to use one word, it was boring. Lame is another word I would use. He didn't touch on anything. The most important thing he touched on was his doubling down on tariffs, which are going to strip the economic power of America and destroy us economically. So that's fun. Won't that be great? Here we are. That's my thoughts. That's a good intro. There you go.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prime Case. Guys, excuse me.
As usual, I disagree with my friend Wick. I think that it was interesting. It was interesting speech. I mean, I was playing Cyberpunk 2077 while I was listening to it, but I thought it was interesting still. And that it laid out like what the priorities were. Now it sounded like a campaign speech because mostly it was, right, especially at the very start of it. But it let the public know, right? Let everyone understand exactly what he thought was important, right? Harassing illegal immigrants, tariffs, right? Like with Doge, right? These are the things that he made a point of going through and very thoroughly laying out like what he wanted to do with these things. So I thought it was actually useful, and I'm glad other people watched as well.
All right, thank you so much. Grid 1.
Yeah, man. Hey, I really appreciate you having me here again, Wick. Not Wick, Gibbs. Hey, man.
I know we look so much alike. We look
I know you're. Well, I don't know. It's the hoodie, man. I can't get over the hoodie. So I liked it. I liked everything about the address. I really especially liked that basically everything that we had or that I had mentioned in the debate just a couple hours earlier, Trump actually repeated almost everything. No, not everything I said, but several things I said. We're going to get into that later. It was fucking awesome. I loved it. It was great. I can't say it enough. I think the Democrats embarrass themselves, and I think that they really need to grow up. And that's all.
All right, Pin Supple.
As the head of MAGA headquarters, I watched nearly every Trump speech he gives. I watched him during the campaign, and I'll say I think this was one of his best speeches. I think part of that is probably the joy that I feel now that we're actually implementing everything that we campaigned on. It doesn't surprise me that maybe if you didn't vote for Trump, that you'd be kind of seething at this time. It's probably one of the worst positions to be in. But I thought he covered his first 2 months very well. He talked about the future of his term and what he wants to do. He showed good things that have been happening. I thought it was really touching what he did with the 13-year-old boy with brain cancer and stuff. And you can accuse him of doing optics, but I think all the Democrats sitting there in pink are equally aware of how this is an optics game. So I would say he won on the optics, he won on the substance. I thought it was a great speech. I keep hearing whether it was a State of the Union or a joint sessions like speech. I don't know if that's like meaningful distinction or not, but
it's not really. It's a technicality.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, whether it was a State of the Union or not, I thought it was a great speech, and I enjoyed watching it. Obviously, as someone who supports him and wanted him to do all of this. Hearing him come out and say, "We're doing all of this" and actively doing it, it's a great place to be in.
All right, thank you so much, and Enemy Charlie.
I thought that I was particularly irritated. My politics are very left, by the way. I didn't bring that up. I would consider myself a Marxist. I was very irritated by the again the paltry show of resistance by the Democrats. I think wearing pink in protest and having a "this is not normal" sign is very pathetic. Did not appreciate seeing that. I thought that bringing up the kid with cancer thing was weird. As far as I know, I think that they've cut cancer research funding. So that's, I guess, fuck that kid and his family or something. I'm honestly, it felt like a lot of Trump slop, which is a lot of bragging. With I feel like not much to show for it. As far as I know, I think that like the Supreme Court just overturned the cuts to the USAID funding. So I just feel like honestly right now he's bragging about executive orders that aren't really actually taking place in a meaningful way. Those are my thoughts on it. Oh, and tariffs. Fuck.
Yeah, talk about
That's gonna
tariffs.
suck.
Don't forget that.
The stock market. The stock market has crashed, didn't it? Didn't it? No, it hasn't crashed, but it's dropping again, right? So that's like a special tariffs, special treat for all of us Americans.
Buy the dip.
Yeah, at least egg prices are down.
Buy the dip.
Right?
Buy the dip. You're not buying them.
The best thing I've seen in ages, man.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah. Let us finish here. Then we'll open it up for discussion. Was that it, Charlie? Did you have one? Oh, okay. All right. Well, my bad then. I didn't mean to stop the session. One point of order. I want to shout out everybody for being here. Thanks so much. We'll get you all properly shouted out here throughout the stream. Thank you all once again for coming. I'm excited. If you feel like you can't get in, as always, raise your hand. We'll try to keep it one at a time so people can hear us, but some exchanges are good. Go ahead, sick 'em, boys. Attack.
So I think the kid with cancer who was made a honorary Secret Service agent, I think is indicative of Trump's style and how Trump operates. He was given a honorary Secret Service, but the funding for his cancer research to help cure him and help him was cut. Hang
on. Can I?
Let me finish.
This is such a.
Let me finish. So again, this constant appeal to aesthetics of things that make people go rah rah rah, but do absolutely nothing. And when we get into the nitty gritty, when we get into actually governing this country, he does not know what he is doing. He is constantly making the wrong moves, both in domestic policy with tariffs, foreign policy with Ukraine, and just consistently fucking up. He has made us weaker, more poor, and worse off than we have been in a long, long time. And it's what, day 60, day 70?
All right. So on the cancer research thing, there's not one place that does cancer research. Okay. And second of all, we know the government is bloated. Just because they put down cancer research, $30 million, doesn't mean that $30 million is being used effectively for cancer research.
What was it being
Nobody's going to challenge you that we want to do cancer research. What we're challenging is is this the best way to do it? Is this the most effective way to use our money to pursue these goals? I think a lot of times when you involve the government, it's not. Nobody's going to challenge that we want cancer research, but you're acting like, oh, we cut one program for cancer research. Now there's no cancer research. This kid has no chance. That makes no sense. That's such a what are we doing here?
Can I get a little clarity with what you just said and maybe just
appeal to emotion?
Very start, you said
it's fine.
Don't
worry about it.
There's no place that does cancer research, or maybe you
no. I said there's not just. I'm saying there's not just one place that does cancer research. There's not like one program. There's not like one
your
facility.
Mic is like super low.
Yeah, they have a budget for it.
Ron, your mic is low, by the way.
Right, but what I'm saying is when you have the government involved, that's where you're going to have not necessarily unsustainable, but
grants are bad.
No, I think that they can be bad. I think they can. Just because they write down something pretty doesn't mean that that's going to be the most effective use of our money for that.
To cancer research is bad.
Right. Not if it's actually going to that research and being used effectively. If it's getting derailed into all these bureaucratic costs, then no, I don't want to fund that anymore. I want to fund cancer research in a way that doesn't involve.
Let's go to
right, but if it's getting derailed into all these administrative costs, and then we send $30 to $1 for actual research, then that's not how we should research cancer. That's not how we should research cancer. No, but it is. But it is.
Hold on, Devil. Let's go to Charlie, and then we're gonna go to Prime, and then I'll let Grid and Tyler get in on this.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Right.
I got your back. I know everybody wants to get in. Go ahead, Charlie.
All right. So federal grants for things like cancer research go to universities. We have a budget for it, and it's like I would think that based on the amount of fucking body of research on cancer that we have seen over the years, which has been insane. I think they're doing the research on cancer.
I'm not suggesting they're not doing the research.
No evidence has suggested otherwise. unless you have
I'm
something.
not suggesting they're not doing the research. I'm suggesting if we send $30 million and get $2 million worth of research because half of it gets derailed in administrative costs at universities, that's not the most efficient way for us to be studying these things. There's other ways that we can study cancer. Nobody's going to challenge you on studying cancer. We all want to study cancer. Sending money to universities is not the only way we do this.
Let Charlie respond to that. Hold on. Let Charlie respond to that.
I would say we should ensure, just to give you my clear position so that you can respond to it. I would say I want programs that at universities to get these grants, and I want to have more oversight. I want to be ensured. I want to know that when we're giving these grants out, that we're getting that much in our research back. We want to have an efficient process. That's all we're asking for. When you have the government involved, it's not about what the process is. They're just generally inefficient. Bureaucratic costs get involved all the time with these kinds of things. We grant this much money and barely any of it gets there.
Let Charlie respond to that. Don't interrupt there. Let me finish, and then we're going to try to get some of the other people in here because I know some other people haven't got a chance to talk.
Appreciate that.
And I know you're objecting to Temple. I like the fire, but let's just let her go here real quick. Go ahead.
Also, I'm okay with fire. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure,
Usually when I go on, I used to go on one of these sorts of things, and it would be like a bunch of dudes screaming at me and calling me like slurs. So you know what?
Listen, I'm not doing it to baby you. I just want to get some order here. Yeah, no, I'm not doing it to baby. I just want like all of the people to get in here at some point. But go ahead, respond to what he said.
But I do appreciate that. And okay, I would like to see where you're getting those numbers about like 30 million for cancer, but only 2 million goes to the research. Also, the thing about I agree with you in the sense that I do think certainly there does need to be, more oversight, I suppose, in many of the things that our federal budget funds. But they don't have like a doctor that specializes in cancer research overseeing these things. Like Elon Musk is not a doctor. Do they have cancer doctors working for?
You think he signed off on it by himself? Like one person looked at this?
What does that have to do with the price?
Yes, actually. Not just.
Well, then you're wrong. You think one person looks at these before the decision is made? Elon isn't even capable of making these decisions. He's not the one who can sign off on it.
Understand finance.
He's an advisor.
Goons, dude. It's them and their fucking.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
no goons.
Let's go to
anyone.
I know
Prime's
trying to get in here.
Professional.
Let's go to Prime and then Greg.
Says you? Do you work there? Are you in the office? How do you even know who's there? You don't even know who's in the office.
Hold on, Pentuple. Let Prime go. Let Prime go.
Well, Pentuple. But thanks. So what I believe Pentuple is trying to get at, he's talking about indirect costs, right? So we have funding grants that we send through the National Institute of Health. We send them out to universities and organizations that do various like research. Basically these grants are proportioned so that a portion that goes to like direct costs, like in terms of, hey, I'm the scientist doing the experiment, right? And then here's me like buying the equipment. That's a direct cost, right? And maybe finding research participants, right? That's split versus indirect costs, right? What he's been calling administrative costs. And these may be like the administrator who like is like the boss of these individuals, right? All the scientists, and who manages all the research projects, right? Who manages the laboratory, right? So maintaining the laboratory. Now this is important. So what happened was, so everyone's on the same page, is that Trump capped it at a 15% indirect cost that could be apportioned. Previously, these things were depending on the organization, they negotiate their own costs. And bigger research institutions had bigger indirect costs. So sometimes you would have, and I think Pentuple might have brought that up, is that half of the money might have gone to administrative costs. Now you might say, oh my God, this is just too much, right? We want more of the money going to the actual research, right? And that's understandable. However, what this does, right, like because they have such a generous amount of money going to administrative costs, it allows them to do lots of other things. It ends up subsidizing all kinds of research, either research they're doing directly for the government or for other institutions, right? When we have these universities, let's say, right, who get these grants with this amount of indirect costs, that allows them to expand their horizons. Maybe, again, for government work, for cancer, for anything, right? For anything you might be wanting to do.
Well, I like the filibustering, but can we get to the point?
Hold on, Gibbs, shut the fuck up, right?
Well, that wasn't Gibbs, that was me.
I'm literally explaining.
I know all white people look the same. That was great.
And then I know Grid and I have the same beard length. You know what I'm saying, Prime?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, so
He's just it's a habit from his show. He's always telling me
hold
to
on,
say
hold on.
it.
But like people don't actually
That's
know
fair.
because we just started talking about this stuff.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Prime. I'll let him finish, and then Grid, you can
I'm just
respond.
about
Yeah,
done.
go ahead.
I'm just
You're
about
good.
done.
You're good, Prime.
Calm the fuck down. But my point is that reducing these costs has knock-on effects, not just for the government work done by these institutions, but by other institutions, small institutions who don't get this amount of grants, but like contract their work out. Like all of this gets reduced, or maybe doesn't even happen if these administrative costs aren't covered, right? So it sounds good at first, right? Saying, oh, we're going to give more money to the research in itself, right? But it has big consequences. So that's what we're talking about. Done.
All right, let's go to Grid here, and then we're gonna go Tyler, then Charlie. No, then
Well,
Wick.
thank
then
God
Charlie,
Amelia
because
Earhart
that's
finally
what
landed that fucking plane. Where do I start? All right. So first, I don't want a doctor, a cancer research doctor, overseeing a budget. That's the most absurd thing that anyone could possibly have said. And I'm not talking about you, Prime. I'm talking about Charlie, I believe it was talking about how Elon's not a doctor. Well, actually, he is a doctor. He's just not a doctor of medicine. And besides that, he he's an efficiency guy, and that's what we want. We want an efficiency guy finding the efficiency and spending our money wisely, as any proper citizen should. I want my government at its most efficient. I don't like bloat. I don't want wasted dollars for every single stupid cause. Cancer research has been going on since I was 4 years old. That's like 50 fucking years ago. So why can't we just 30 million after the trillions of dollars spent on it? I'm okay with making it more efficient. I'm okay with actually reducing the amount of separate people working on it down to a select few that are actually making progress and not soaking the American taxpayer out of his fucking money. But it's okay. I understand. Sometimes, somebody comes out of left field and hits a home run. So cool. Let's just, but the cancer thing. Come on, Wick. Come on.
Hold on. Okay, so first of all,
let him respond.
Trillions.
Then we're gonna go to Tyler. Go ahead, Wick.
Okay, so trillions spent on cancer research. I'll give you some stats here. So it's from
in 50 years,
2020. Well, I'm talking globally, right? I'm talking globally. So not just the United States. We're talking globally. It's been 24 billion globally for the last 4 years. So trillions.
Since when?
Really?
Since
That's
when?
just not
Since
happening.
when?
Second of all,
since when? No, you can't. Don't.
There is a reason you want someone who actually knows about research, who knows about the field, to oversee something and figure out, is this thing that they are doing actually effective? And the only person who would be able to tell you that is someone who is familiar with cancer research or research in general, or has a degree in the field, which Elon does not. His efficiency shit does. What part of being efficient is having the right amount of money going to the right place. And the only way you know that's the right place is if you have someone who is familiar with the topic. That's why it's very important when he's going through these things that they look through and they have people who are knowledgeable in these fields. Thirdly, I should say, right, is that's not how Doge has been doing it.
Hey, wait, I love you testifying.
On trans mice, because they didn't know the difference between, they thought it was transgender mice. It wasn't. It was another word that started with trans, but their little program, they just typed in trans, and all of a sudden they canceled all those things. It's the reason why they fired a bunch of fucking nuclear.
That's not true.
People in charge of the
you need to read up on that.
I think you need to read better.
The program they're using to
I actually support the trans mice studies.
Okay, hold on. All right, that's fair. I'm gonna let Grid respond real quick.
Yeah.
Like 2 minutes
so
Wick, then I'm gonna go to Tyler, and then I want to say something.
Thank you.
Then we're gonna go
Wait,
to Charlie.
can I jump in? Like, okay, actually, yeah.
No, elbow your way in. Don't let him do
it. No, don't worry about it. I can just keep raising the volume.
I don't think that Elon Musk is a good businessman.
24 billion since 2016.
He's just on paper.
Again,
I don't think Shohei Ohtani's good at baseball. Why do you bring these absurd things into this?
Hold on.
In the past, since 2016 till now, that's the number you want to give me? For cancer research
Hey,
alone?
show me where trillions, which you said has been spent on cancer research.
In
Bro,
the
that was
past
a
50
point he
years.
was making
I'll
beyond
even
the
grant that I was being hyperbolic.
The point being made, Wick,
I'll
is
even
that
grant that it's
when you
less than a
scoff
trillion.
at the idea of one cancer research program being pulled, as if that's all of cancer research is like a whole field. Like you're acting like oh, there's no cancer research left. Like that's obviously not true. Why are you pitching it to people to like make them panic? Like we're not researching cancer anymore.
Let me just jump in here, guys.
That's all it is.
I'm actually gonna say my thing before I go to Tyler. I don't know if y'all noticed the article I put in there earlier, because it seems like we're talking about the cancer research, and Pentemple's kind of alluding to something I would like to talk about a little bit. I posted an article in there just to give a little framing. We talked about it, I think, on Primes a little bit on Monday, but it's basically they found a facility here in San Antonio where I live, which is a left-leaning city, and they were getting paid 18 mil a month to the tune of over $1 billion since 2001, and they've never used it. And it's like a migrant overflow facility that's never been used. And this now it locally has bipartisan support as like clear waste. And a lot of the people on the right are framing Doge in the efficiency direction as this is something that like we should all be looking forward to, as opposed to just like, I know there's specific things
Sorry,
like cancer
where is this?
objective. This is San Antonio. I posted it in the group chat that you're in.
Oh,
If you
okay,
can't see
gotcha.
it, I can repost it. Yeah. So basically, locally, it's got bipartisan support for like getting rid of this facility because it seems like wasteful, and there's questions about why this nonprofit is posting record profits. It's kind of weird. But I'm only bringing that up because that seems like a general example of government waste that, in theory, those should be cutting. I know that we're opposed to like the cancer stuff, or are we mad just because of the specific items, or are we mad because Elon Musk overall is running? What's the reasons and all that? I'm gonna let y'all like think about that response. I'm gonna go to Charlie first after we go to Tyler. So let Tyler finish, guys, because he hasn't spoken. Then we'll go to Charlie, and then I'll open it up. And it looks like Prime's gonna stand up. We'll go from there. Go ahead, Tyler, and then Charlie.
Okay, because I am as empathetic as I am wise and correct all the time, I will bestow knowledge upon all of you. Now, Gibbs thinks that I'm a Trump person because what I do is dispel hyperbole with fact. It just so happens right now that the people that are using more hyperbole and more removed from factual reality are the people that lost the election. Tends to be that way. Before it was the GOP, now it's the Democrat. I have no problem with either one. So, looking at the stock market, when we were talking about the stock market crashing, and it was just briefly brought up by Charlie, and I doubt she went too much by it, but that's just looking at this day-to-day news cycle and not any historical context. The stock market's been rocky for about 3 years, and if you look, it's back up today, almost 30% of the losses we saw in that small 3-day dip. So, boom, knowledge. Moving into what Wick was saying about he was somewhat gish-galloping, listing off a couple examples. One of them was Ukraine, Trump making us look weak. Going into the context of that, if you look at it, Trump is giving certain concessions to Russia, kind of placating them a little bit.
He cut off all intelligence sharing with Ukraine today.
Yeah, all sorts of things like that. Yeah.
For Ukraine to use their own damn weapons.
I understand.
To target enemy soldiers in Russia, he cut off their ability to do that.
Yeah, I understand that. He's making certain concessions to Russia, showing we're serious. When the Biden administration, before the war started, there were concessions.
Hold on, wait. I know that you're upset. Go ahead.
So there's a lot of shit that being said. I'm hitting everybody here. So going into Ukraine, when Biden was trying to dispel that before the war started, he went into Ukraine. He stopped selling them lethal weapons. He approved their pipeline that Trump had sanctioned at the time, and give them all sorts of concessions to try to talk them out of war. This is similar to that, where Trump's going in, trying to sue for peace and give them concessions. Say, look, we're actually being a little tough on Ukraine, and we're being a little lighter on you. We're not the last administration. That's perfectly fine for a new administration to do that, and nobody accused Biden of placating Russia when he did these things to sue for peace as well. If you take a step back and look at the historical context, you might disagree with some of the individual actions, but really what he's doing generally is fine.
There's a huge difference between trying to get a country like Russia not to invade, and then once they have invaded, cutting off aid and stabbing your ally in the back, which is what we are doing to Ukraine. Putin has made zero concessions. Putin is getting everything he wants. Everything.
Except
he
for
has
Ukraine.
given us nothing.
Except for
we have bent over. right? We've unzipped Putin's fly, and now we're gawk 5,000 on his fucking knob. Okay, that's what we're doing.
I don't like using
for no reason.
Yo,
He has any
2017
nothing.
called.
Here we go.
2017 called. They want their talking points.
I want.
Let's go to Charlie here.
I like that one. That was good. Yeah, that was great.
Do you agree with the Gok 5,000 on Putin take?
I do. First of all, as
let her go.
As a queer, I don't find that offensive, the Gok 5,000, because that is precisely what's happening.
Well, as a straight, I do.
I got something.
Okay, so
no, we don't have something for this.
There's a lot that we covered. Where were we on? Goodness. Okay, on the. Are we moving past the cancer research stuff?
Oh yeah, we could. I mean, I was talking about the government spending in general with the Doge because in relation to that. But yeah, we covered a lot right there. So just pick up where you want to.
I got a little cancer stuff, so we can circle back to it if you want to.
I suppose with goodness gracious.
Yeah, just go for where you want to.
Yeah.
Okay. With the budget, I don't think that we need to run the government like a business, because the point isn't to make profit. And also the idea of like it privatized. If we privatize these things, like it's going to be just as expensive, the bureaucracy. Like again, like I don't see how there's going to be any meaningful change made in government waste or spending. I largely feel that this is I suppose this is a broad stroke, but I do think that this is mostly to cover, more billionaire tax breaks for Musk. And I also think that this is a way for Musk and other billionaires to take over former government entities and privatize them and make big money, like SpaceX and shit. My God, onto Ukraine. I think it's crazy that we are kind of like losing the Cold War 30 years
keep
after.
marching, or
I don't know why we are ceding.
Just write like down. Sorry, Charlie. I'll let you go ahead in a second. Just guys, I know we've been a lot of stuff covered. Just write notes, and then if you have objections, we'll come back. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, my God, I might have to go get a pen and fucking paper. I'll be honest with you. Have I followed Ukraine, Russia, extensively? No, but I do know that Ukraine is land that Russia wants. Ukraine also has a lot of natural resources, and we as a country, the US, benefit from Ukraine not belonging to Russia, and also not really ceding any ground to them, because I don't think that, as far as I know, didn't they have like a peace treaty, and didn't Russia violate it again? Like it's just gonna keep
25 times.
I'm sure Wick is going to elaborate on all that.
25 times.
Every
Okay,
25 breaking of ceasefire deals. He broke the Minsk 1. He broke Minsk 2. He's never honored a ceasefire deal. Well, I won't say never, but 25 times he's broken it with Ukraine specifically. It's just it's crazy that we trust him not to break it again. I just don't understand.
I don't understand.
Nothing ever changes ever. No variables change.
Why are we trusting Vladimir Putin? I don't understand. I don't think that Russia is the world power that, we should be ceding power to. I feel like our soft power is just going to, and our hard power is just going to, anyway. Let me go get a fucking pen and paper, because I'm going to need that to follow right now.
While you do that, let's go to Grid Couple, then we're going to go to Prime, and then we're going to go to Grid.
So
and then we'll go back to
I agree in spirit with what Charlie started at the beginning there, as I was writing down. We aren't running the government like a business for profit. Am I unmuted? Yeah. But it does have to be sustainable. And so it's I agree with you. The government's not a business. We're not running it to try to make a profit, but that doesn't mean that we can run it in a way that's unsustainable, because by definition, we can't sustain that. And we're at a point now where we're $30+ trillion in debt. I think everyone would agree we're at least getting closer to the point of unsustainability. I don't know, maybe like in 50 years, we're just like the debt's 150 trillion. Maybe we're not near collapse or anything, but like, I think people know that what is going on right now is not sustainable. And that's more like why it might feel like the same direction is like, oh, we have to treat it like a business. It's not necessarily treating it like a business to pursue like a profit motive, but it is treating it like a business in the sense that like it does need to be sustainable. If this isn't sustainable, we're just going to be continuing down this path that has gotten us this far into debt. So like I agree with you in spirit, but I think at the same time, it doesn't mean that we don't have to account for sustainability in nearly every single government program that we do.
All right, Prime.
I disagree about the government being unsustainable. Even at $37 trillion of debt, it sounds very big to people, to like with our ordinary like human brains, with our normal sized budgets, but it's not right. Like most of that debt is debt to ourselves. That debt doesn't get called in all at once. It goes to funding things that we actually need. As long as that debt's being put to something useful, then it's fine. But I can go into that in greater detail at some other time. However, our friend Gibbs, though, was telling us about this facility, right? So there's this facility in San Antonio. Now, like you brought it up on Monday, Gibbs, but you didn't send a link at the time. Thank you for saying it now. But actually looking at this thing, right? Okay, so it was an $18 million contract to house like migrant children. And like it was sitting empty. And so Doge comes in and says, oh, well, we're cutting it, right? And this is framed as waste, right? But it's not. It's actually quite simple. First of all, there's no bipartisan support for it to be closed, right? I haven't seen that at all, but maybe you can give me a link to show that. But like what they were doing really basically, they were holding capacity for the government because in Texas, right, they have a lot of migrants. They don't know when the migrant flows go up or where they go down, right? Currently, they're lower, right? And so this facility wasn't currently being used, but when they needed to scale it up, that's what happened. If you remember previously, right? Like I'm sure Gibbs will know this, right? If you remember previously, we had there were so many migrants coming through, right? We had no place to put them. We're making makeshift shelters. We were putting them under bridges in Texas, right? Just like literally under bridges. The reason why they were holding this facility was when there's a huge migrant inflow and they can scale up immediately. That makes sense. So that's not waste, fraud, and abuse. Once again, I don't trust anything Doge says about actual corroboration. I'm done.
Thank you. Before we go to Grid, I do want our last panelist finally has arrived. A good friend of mine. We have iCal Rich. He's a state championship winning debate coach here. So I'm excited to have him. Tell us who you are, what you do, real quick, and then I don't know if you're caught up to speed, but we'll go.
Yeah, just debate coach out of Texas. That's pretty much it. That's it. That's just what I do. Mostly high school. Although, like in the last year or two, I've added other age groups, which has been a fun challenge for me. But yeah. That's it.
All right. Yeah. Have you been able to listen? Are you aware? You know where we're at, or do you just you want to just let
no, I just
go?
got here. I class loading.
Okay, cool. We're talking about government efficiency of Doge.
We talk about
a little bit
Ukraine
of foreign policy. Yeah, let's do that. Because I think they are directly tied together with the soft power, the foreign power.
At some point.
So, what was your? I'm sorry. What was
going
your
to respond to what I said about the bullshit?
Yeah. So, the reason why, well, I will expound. I was trying to just be moderate, but the reason why I picked this kind of one is because it's a local issue being covered pretty extensively locally, right? And two, I think it'd be fun to go over there and maybe do some investigative reporting and try this out. But I find it interesting here that at the local level, which I live in a very left-leaning city. I live in San Antonio, right? It's one of the most left-leaning cities in Texas. There seems to be pretty broad bipartisan support calling this suspicious government waste because this company, Family Endeavors, it's supposed to be nonprofit. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't ready really to dive into this super in depth, but I can if we would like to at a little later. But the point I'm bringing is because at least on the local level, when I'm talking about this, it seems interesting to me because it has bipartisan support. They both seem to be saying it's waste, and I'm not saying maybe there's not more to this, Prime. Like we can look into it, and I can get you the info. We can dive into it. But I guess the idea to me is more interesting in this sense of I personally think that as bloated as the government is, just like I like businesses that get too big, there probably are either corruption or not corruption, just bloat or inefficiencies, and sometimes you just need to go in there and trim the hedges for the good of everybody. And I think a lot of people can get behind that on both sides. However, it seems because Doge is the one doing it, and it's Elon Musk specifically, it seems anything that's potentially found is tainted, right? And that's kind of where I wanted to go with this a little bit, if that makes sense. Is that cool with you, Prime? I know you wanted to maybe more
other people want to move to you.
Yeah,
we could talk about it more.
No, we could. I want to talk. I want to mention this just real quick, right?
Go ahead.
I don't mind an audit, and I don't mind trimming the hedges, so to speak. But you are correct that everything Doge is doing is tainted, is because they keep fucking up. They're doing a bad job. They keep making mistakes. They keep making with their savings wall. They said we found 8 billion of savings, but then they had to correct it to 8 million, right? And that happens over and over again. They keep firing people and then having to rehire them because they fucking did it wrong. Like, if we want to do this, it has to be done at a better level than Doge is doing it. We have a competency crisis in Washington, and Elon Musk and Trump are at the head. Okay, sorry.
Well,
all right, so here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do real quick, just to get ordered. I'm gonna go to Grid, let him respond. But also in your response, Grid, I know ICAL is gonna wants to talk Ukraine and soft power and how Doge is tied to that with you. So I'm gonna go to you, Grid, and then I'm gonna go to ICAL, and then to let him get in. Then we'll go to Wick, and then Charlie and Tyler and double. We can just go from there.
Just get an addendum before we move on, just very quickly.
Sure. Good. What you go?
Just to quickly answer your question and tie on to my friend Wick here. So I agree with everything he just said, but my larger problem is that we actually have a process for dealing with these, with cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, right? We already have that in place. We have inspector generals that usually bring these things to light, or through the news, right? And then we have a Congress that's supposed to debate and pass laws and to cut funding to things that aren't of use to the American people. That's the process. And what is happening now is they're doing an end run around Congress, which they're happy to have, because then they can cut things like Social Security without Congress ever taking a vote and then having to face people saying, oh yeah, I cut Social Security. It's bullshit. Let's actually go through the proper process. Done.
All right, let's go to Grid, and then we're going to go to ICAL, let him get a word in, and then we'll go to Charlie and Wick. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Listen, first of all, the amount of absurdity is awesome tonight. I love it. I'm just going to pick one of the massive amount of things you covered in that rambling, nonsensical speech, I guess it was, Charlie. But so Elon Musk owned SpaceX. It was never a government agency. He didn't privatize anything. If anything, the government is happy to have SpaceX doing.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I said that I think that that's a goal.
Yes. Why would he do that?
Money. Power. Why wouldn't he? That's crazy.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. I am sorry. This is absurd. The richest man, literally the richest man in the world that can literally do whatever he wants. He can buy else. He can buy a country if he wants. What? The richest man.
I think that's an interesting question, Grid. Let me ask this real quick.
Go ahead.
So, I as a conservative, I tend to agree with you. He's the richest man in the world. He probably doesn't need more power. I think he's maybe doing it for hopefully good reasons. Now, to Charlie's point though, if you're that kind of person, you're the richest man in the world, there's never a limit on how much power you're going to want. So, that seems like something that would be a good motivator to them. I think y'all have heard me before. I'm all about that kind of thing personally. Sure. I like the idea of being a whatever. Now, Grid, how would you object to something like that, though? I know because that doesn't.
Did you not see him tell Disney to go fuck themselves?
Sure. I mean,
live, literally said. Go fuck
but what does that have to do with Elon Musk potentially abusing?
That was Elon Musk.
It shows that he's not purely profit driven and motive driven. He's willing to take the hits for what he believes in. I think that's pretty clear.
He gave
but it's just clear to the point that he's not just this money hungry, power driven guy. He does have principles that he believes in.
Disney.
Elon Musk has
government entities.
It doesn't matter which way. Look.
Yeah, I mean, I guess obviously you guys are the biggest Elon Musk fans. I don't know why you guys think you would have the most credibility on what he's like.
Hold on. Let's.
The people who watch him do obviously have a little more credibility than the people who don't.
I gotta ask. Wick. I gotta ask you, bro. I gotta ask you, man, because this happened. You said something that was very enlightening to me. That you actually do think that there's waste in the government and cuts should be made.
Yes.
Where?
Well, I think that we spend far too much on programs like Doge. Doge is something we could cut right away.
Okay, but that's dumb. Let's
The white
insert.
flag has been waved.
Give me something. Give me something real. What about healthcare? What about healthcare? Do you think there's wastefulness in healthcare?
Yes, I think there's waste in the healthcare system. I think there's waste in social.
How would you
security.
fix that?
I think there's waste in all these things. The fact that they find some waste.
Would you hire someone to look into that?
But my issue with Doge specifically is I don't trust those motherfuckers.
Well, they don't trust you either.
They're not making the final decisions, Wick. They are an advisory board that provides data. They give access to data. That's why you can have these 19-year-old kids that run it with AI, because all it is data. All it is data. And it's saying, here, look, money going to the wrong places, money that's not even being signed off. We don't even know where it's going.
I don't trust their data, bro.
Look, the point is, you're like, oh, they're firing people that have to be rehired. It's called closing a department, and they go to somewhere else because we're restructuring the government.
Like that is exactly
what happened. Know what's going on. You are not there. You are reading in so much. Leftists do this all the time, where they just pretend like they're there. They're in the building. They know what Doge is doing.
You're not there either. You're not there
No,
either.
but you're the one making claims like, oh, they're making all these mistakes. They're doing all this dumb stuff. You have no idea how the process works because you don't work there. So why are you pretending that you do? So why are you pretending you do? I'm not pretending I do. But yeah, you have no credibility when you treat it like you do. You're acting like you know.
Doing the same.
I like this
reminds me of my family Christmas.
I like the guy. I like that guy. That guy's awesome.
Stop. Okay, everybody's good. Sorry, guys. I like no hard feelings, but I want to reframe this because I wanted to ask something, and then y'all just took off the races. God damn it! But it was good. Hey, let me. All right.
Sorry for calling you bitch. It's just a.
No,
it's okay.
Like bitch and girl kind of flying in a neutral way.
Do it more louder.
Yeah, Wick's right.
No hard feelings for me. No hard feelings. I'm very cool.
He's very into abuse. You know what I'm saying? He's
I'm literally wearing a hot to a hat.
Before we got
I'm here for the clips. I'm here for the clips.
Before we got lost, let me ask you a question. Right. So you say it's because you don't trust them.
Yes.
All right. Just to frame this, like, how do you argue that to, like, say someone like me, right? I have sat here for the last 16 to 20 years going, I don't trust what the fuck's going on. It's about time we got somebody else in here. What do you argue? Like, how do you frame that to them as opposed to okay, cool. Now you know how we felt. Like, do you understand?
Yeah, I get you. Not trusting the government is always wise, right? But never trusting the government is also foolish. And when you see an entity, right, come in and they keep messing up, and they've only existed for 30 days, 60 days, and they keep making mistake after mistake, and then they purposefully and with intent misrepresent the data that they're gathering to you, which Elon has done multiple times.
Now you're assigning intent. So this is what I mean by saying you guys pretend like you work there, like you know these people.
I didn't realize I was here for
shit like that. It's insane. It's so discrediting. This is why your party's lost so much in the last 8 years.
And those who work within Doge, and I use that information and I make it
right. You might as well be there, bro. You might as well be there, dog.
Here's what we're gonna.
Here's the thing.
My friend Wick works there.
I'm gonna let Wick. Hold on. I'm gonna let Wick finish.
Let me finish answering you. Right. So someone like Gibbs, who doesn't trust the government, thinks there's plenty of waste. I'm with you. I think that too. I think we need a better process in place. Absolutely. But we have that process. We just haven't been following it. And much like Prime said, Prime Kai was very wise when he said this. We have in the Constitution, right? Checks and balances, assignment of powers. The Congress has the power of the purse. And if we find
official acts,
if we find different programs that we think are fraud, waste, abuse, whatever, Congress is the one that should be taking away those fundings. That's the process we're doing.
All right, so what happens when Congress is getting kickbacks from it? What happens to congressmen are worth hundreds of millions of dollars as a result of this funding?
I'm sorry.
Wow, yeah, great answer.
Everybody calm down. I'm gonna let y'all rant.
I have to ask.
I'm gonna go to Charlie. Hold on 1 second. Write it down. I'm going to go to Charlie. She's going to talk. Then we're going to go to Tyler because he hasn't talked in 30 minutes. And then, before anybody says anything else, nobody else says anything, let her talk to her end. Then let Tyler talk to the end. And then we're going to let Aiko say whatever because he hasn't said anything yet. And I want to hear his opinion. And then we'll turn it loose again. All right, go ahead, Charlie.
Okay, so just 2 quick points. Pentuples, you were talking about, government debt. And I agree, it's not great that we have a lot of federal debt. However, I don't think that, cutting taxes for billionaires is a great way of resolving that debt. I think that we would actually be able to do quite a bit if we, if Trump hadn't, in resolving that debt, if Trump hadn't cut taxes to billionaires. Two, if we want to talk about government waste, two
What the
prime
fuck?
examples, I think, is excessive funding to the military, to the point that I believe sometimes they have to like fly their jets just to spend
Well, they have to stay
their fuel
current.
money.
That's a legal requirement.
All right. Well, I think that the military, it's bloated. It's bloated. Okay. I know people.
I would say they're
many people
underfunded.
in the military, and a lot of the time, a lot of our
There's a
soldiers
Prove your
are.
case that the military's bloated.
Well, hold on, Grit. Is that mutually exclusive though? That like I'm pro funding more for the military, but I also think it's bloated. Like I think that there needs to be someone to go in there and clean out the fat.
Can
Like,
I
they're
ask
searching
Charlie-
for the
Wait,
military.
second point.
But yeah, go
Raise
ahead,
your
Charlie.
hand
Go
if you
ahead.
served in the
Let Charlie
military,
finish.
Health
Yeah, well, sure,
insurance
okay, that's a good
subsidies
point.
are extremely expensive. Health insurance subsidies are extremely expensive. Universal single payer healthcare would actually be less expensive. So, but Elon's not talking about that. He's not going after health insurance companies
Hold on,
and
Doug.
working towards anything like that. So he's going after shit like cancer research.
Jesus.
Okay,
And
I'm gonna go to Tyler.
food
Oh,
for
go ahead,
starving
sorry.
children.
Yep. Okay,
All right,
so
I'm gonna go to Tyler, then iCal, and then Temple. You can rage for a moment, and then we'll go to the rest of the people.
Just make-
Prime and Wit.
just making sure my voice box still works after all that fucking waiting. So I'm looking over these arguments. I have no
You're good at
comment.
note taking, so I'm in faith in you. All right.
Yeah. I got you. So looking over, I have no comment on Elon trying to read Elon's mind like you guys are doing. That's a little silly of an argument to me. When you guys started screaming, it reminded me of my family Christmas, and it's kind of coincidental because we have two Santas in here right now with us. So going into what Gibbs was asking about Doge. A lot of what we're arguing about is the mandatory spending. When Doge already right now is only going to discretionary spending, they are currently inside the Defense Department looking at the military right now. So all this spending that they are able to look at in terms of what you guys are talking about, they're currently doing. So that's in a way a good thing. Now, what we see with Doge is Doge and the president's administration are doing a lot of things like freezing things and whatnot. They're moving a lot faster than administrations generally have. They hit the ground running. They got their people right into place. They started doing all their changes to the administration day one, where sometimes these things take months to roll out. So what we're seeing is a lot, but we're also seeing a lot of mistakes, and we're also seeing a lot of challenges. Some of these challenges that are being presented are the same things that Biden had to go through when he was trying to implement his people. Not nearly as many per capita, but again, they're not moving as fast, so they're not going to make as many errors. Looking at the USAID ruling from Judge Ali, what that said about Doge is it wasn't making an error in terms of what they were doing at the USAID. What they were doing is making an error in terms of their sweeping cutting of the entire department, and they had to go case by case. So a bunch of people that didn't know anything about law were screaming that we had a constitutional crisis incorrectly, when in reality, all they were doing was adhering to the judge's order to go case by case, and they continued cutting from USAID. The judge said, "What the hell? I expected you to reinstitute it." And they said, "No, we just stopped doing this sweeping thing you said we weren't allowed to do." That's when the Supreme Court stepped in and said, "You have to fund projects we've already done and just pay for everything we've already done." And that's the end of it. So they were technically right.
All right, iCal.
Okay,
I know,
so
you-
let me just
Go ahead. Nobody interrupt iCal. All right, let him get his thing in.
yeah,
and then,
there's just four
we'll go
things I
from
need
there.
to respond to, but I guess I can only respond to three now because one of them got taken care of there, which was the SCOTUS thing, which I wanted to remind everybody of that just happened, which I think is a big deal. But the first thing is the Family Endeavors like overflow facility. Like I agree with what Prime said about we have to have it ready for when we do need it. But the other thing is, if you want to compare that in terms of expense, $18 million a month is what we were paying for that facility. It had 3,000 beds, enough to house 3,000 people. That's a total cost of $6,000 per bed per month. Okay. Guantanamo Bay has only 120 beds, and we pay $45 million a month to maintain that for those 120 beds. So instead of $6,000 per bed, we're paying $375,000 per bed. Okay, so over $1 million for just 3 beds every month that we pay for that facility. So we're talking about 20 times the expense of this Family Endeavors thing. And we've been trying to shut down, they've been trying, this is waste, fraud, and abuse that's happening despite 2 presidents now trying to shut it down, but Congress wouldn't let it happen because they feel like we need to keep wasting this money and virtually getting nothing out of it. Okay, that's number one. Number two is one of the things that Doge just did was basically without Congress being involved, essentially repeal the PACT Act. So all that stuff that we did for veterans that got passed is statutory. Doge just cut it as if that was a line item that the executive branch could do. And Doge isn't even the executive branch. It's just like some dudes that were picked by Elon who wasn't elected. But 80,000 jobs at the VA were just cut as part of that. That's a horrifying thing. If you know and care about veterans, to have that facility taken away from them without any statutory oversight at all. I mean,
I have never talked to a veteran who likes the VA in my life.
Hold on, because I can't finish. I don't finish.
The PACT Act was incredibly important. I used to work for the VA. My stepfather's a veteran. My grandfather's a veteran.
Yeah, well, guess what? Most veterans hate the VA.
Yeah, I know they fucking hate the VA. I don't like the VA.
Why do you think that is? Yes.
We have a veteran on the panel. We have a veteran on the panel we can go to.
Veterans hate the fact that resources at the VA are being kept from them. So taking those resources.
Oh wow!
Let Akil catch up. He's catching up to the panel.
The big problem here. It's sort of like saying, "I can't believe you're underpaying me, so go ahead and cut my salary in half, and that solves everything." Like, no, that's ridiculous.
No, it's more like, "Hey, we're going to get you into a new department. You're going to be working over across the aisle now. You're going to have a brand new job and new pay."
Let him finish. He's got a couple more points. Let him finish.
Military. How about we produce all these tanks? People talk about us giving tanks to Ukraine. They're tanks that we've sat on for decades, and then we're finally about to get scrapped, and so we give them to Ukraine. But we're continually making new tanks that the Pentagon keeps saying that it doesn't need for its own usage. They've been complaining about it for decades, actually, and we don't use them because it's not the way that the United States fights warfare. We'd be better off just giving it away to a country that needs it. I have a country in mind for that, but I guess we'll talk about that later. But yeah, there are ways in which we're wasting that money continuously, and we can look at those things, right? But yeah, taking resources away from veterans is not the way to do it.
He meant All right, thank you so much. I want to go to Wick since he's a VA guy. Then we're gonna go to Pit Temple since I know he's got a bunch of objections, and then we'll go to Prime, and then we'll open it up to everybody.
I'll first
I gotta step away for a minute.
Yeah, the first thing on the VA, yes, the amount of red tape, bureaucracy, and the difficulty to actually get seen and actually get good care. That's the problem with the VA, right? What we need for the VA is better administrators. We have shit administrators, and we have shit allocation of resources. It's just bad. You're right. I hate the VA. I don't like the VA. But it's not because of the solution to that, I should say, is not to take away its funding. It's simply to make it better, right? To make it more like private healthcare. But here's also what I wanted to say, and this is breaking news, okay? Breaking news that I just found out. Trump is reportedly lifting sanctions on Russia.
Interesting.
What the fuck, gang? Trump's surrender to Putin proceeds apace. Okay, this is reportedly. Okay, this is reportedly by Reuters and the Kiev Independent. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. Damn. What are we doing? Why are we surrendering? In the war between Russia and Ukraine?
We're not surrendering. We're not at war with Russia.
I mean, proxy war. We're a proxy war.
I just wanted to challenge the progressives on the panel. Why are you guys so resistant to change in the VA the way it works? We know how horrible it is. Why have the progressives become so resistant to change? I thought you guys were all about making change in the future and the way, like, it's good for the next 100 years. It's going to be this way.
I worked for the VA. I worked for the VA in a disability clinic. The issue with the VA is that there's so few clinics and so few medical staff. People will wait months.
Yeah, because they have too many admins.
No, dude, it's literally a lack of people would drive an hour to our fucking clinic to be seen by our doctors. There's a lack of, available at least I worked for a disability clinic, like disability testing clinics. There's a lack of like medical professionals. We literally had to like dig our claws into our fucking doctors and be like, please do not quit. Please, we need you. These people fucking need you. Like it's fucking desperate, dude. It's like there's not enough. it's bad. And the PACT Act was huge for so many fucking veterans. Like the way it expanded like how, you know, what was considered a disability. It got a lot of people who did my God, what is it called? Tire fires, pit burnings, like the Desert Storm. There's a specific
the
term
burn
for
pits,
the burn
chemicals and
pits.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, which my stepfather, that you know is now a part of his, you know, veterans disability stuff, is because he was around the fucking burn pits and his lungs don't fucking work anymore. Like this, like that's cutting the PACT Act is fucking brutal, and I also think it's very stupid, in my opinion, to make a population that is already fairly disenfranchised, has a lot of mental health issues, and is combat trained. I think fucking them over is like a bad move, in my opinion.
If they
Not the
hate
people
the
that I would fuck
VA,
over.
do you think
So
that
can
most
I
vets
mean-
see this as a bad thing?
Well,
Yes. Yes.
Because the vets in my chat are going, "Fuck yeah, dude."
With the what? The VA
They want
cutting?
less. They want
Yeah,
less disability.
getting
clinics,
rid of the
they want less
admin.
access.
Literally, I'll read you some. You want me to read you
Baby
some?
girl, they're not
Hold on,
getting
no,
rid
no,
of
hold on, Greg.
admin. They're not getting rid of admin.
Well, hold on. I want to ask one thing. Maybe just framing. I posted an article now in the thing, and it's talking about like a VA sex scandal, which looks like some government funds went to. Like when I see stuff like this, personally, I see waste. Are y'all arguing that the VA can't be made more efficient? On the left, is that what y'all arguing?
So-
Like, what are y'all's like
No.
solution?
I'll like as kind of goes with what I was going to say. So
Sure,
like,
Brian, go ahead.
Was it a Penn Temple? Sorry, I keep forgetting your name. I apologize. But he was saying, hey, like you progressives, right? Like you are all about change, you're all about reform. Why are you so resistant here, right? So I personally not. I don't have any loyalty to the VA, right? It's a government agency. I hear mixed things about it. I hear that the actual healthcare, when the veterans can get the healthcare, is actually top class, right? But the problem is that it's so hard to get the
Waiting
healthcare.
lists and stuff
So
are
now,
shit. But yeah.
yeah. So if you wanted to, if Penn Temple, maybe your plan, right? Maybe what you'd like to do is to close the VA altogether, right? Maybe reform it into some new agency that has a similar mission. I'd be for that, but I haven't heard that plan. Right? Have you seen that plan? Maybe I've missed it. Right? And you
No, but you just identified that the plan could exist. So, like,
I identified that a plan. Yes, there could be concept of a plan,
and that plan would be better.
Hold on. But yes, but we don't have.
You just said it. So what's the question? I have to come up with it myself to make the point? What the fuck?
And you can understand because you asked the question, trying to answer the question, right? My problem is.
Yeah, but you just lecture with no credibility. I don't get it.
Shut up for a second. Just okay. So my problem is that there is no there's no presented plan, right? If Trump had that plan, right, and let's say that Trump is brilliant and it'd be a good plan, well then I can examine that and I can see if I support that. Are you going to make things better for our veterans? Okay, but if you're just cutting it, right, and not actually doing the reforms, if you're just cutting it, that'll simply make what is a bad or poor agency worse, and I don't want that for our veterans.
Sure, yeah, I agree. We definitely have to, like, we can't just eliminate it and not do anything else. It's gonna come with like adjusting the way that the system works for the military and the veterans. Like, I'm 100%. But like you just said, that plan the concept exists. So like I don't have it. I'm not gonna be the one who makes it. I'm just saying that's the pursuit that we should go. That's how this works. Like I don't.
Sure, but
every conversation is like this. None of us are writing the legislation for the things we argue.
On the thought that there is another plan, right? But
yeah,
again, we don't have that plan. We don't know.
No, but you agreed that there is obviously a plan that could be better than what we have right now, which is what drives the pursuit of trying to bring reform. Yeah.
We can have a better.
But you're saying I'm dying. You're saying I'm dying on this hill until you have something I know is way better. But it's like that's like okay, like okay.
Very simple. I'm asking you, hey, like,
right?
Have the plan.
I'm not going to be the one who makes that ever. I'm never going to be the one who writes the reform for VA.
Before you burn your house down, it's helpful to have a house that you're going to move back into.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
Can I actually about the story that was shared?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, about the story that was shared. Go ahead.
So actually, the reason that I quit my job at the VA was that one of the physician's assistants that we were desperately keeping our hooks in started hitting on me through our team chats and would not leave me alone. And I knew that if I brought this to HR, I would be the one let go because we did not have the resources necessary to hire
Wait, is
more
this like
medical
are you
professionals.
wait just to ask, like, because now I'm
Uh-huh.
curious. Like, are you saying this is like actually like a predominant like culture issue, like, or it was because of like resources?
Well, what I'm saying is that when something like the VA is extremely underfunded and you need to keep your claws in specific people so that veterans can get the care that they need, like I left because I knew that that person that they could not fucking replace him, but they could replace me. So I think you're going to get weird sex crazy things happening because you're putting people in positions of power that they could abuse. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely absurd. What?
Admiral, yeah, Admiral, please explain that to the rest of us. Translate.
Yeah, how did that make sense, brother? Make it make sense.
Okay, so like, all right, I guess I'll maybe try to translate to like conservative counterparts. The argument would be, say you're like, say I owned a restaurant, and I had employees that they were shitty, but I was in a small area with not very many people I could hire, so I would have to retain shitty employees. And if someone complained, they'd be the one let go because I can't afford to lose the other ones because I don't have the funding or the resources to get the replacements. Is that a fair paraphrasing, Charlie? Or
Thank you. Yes, that's correct.
analogy?
So if you further
underfund
it, you're going to get even more fucking weird orgies or weirder things happening because you are putting people in positions where they are like fucking invaluable, dude.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, Charlie.
That's illegal,
right? But it's a weird argument to make.
Sure,
like,
but legal
if
things
we
happen all
take
the time.
away
Well,
money
you just
from the
posted a
Veterans
sex crazed
Association,
orgy
they're
shit
gonna have
bullshit.
orgies
I'm
there.
sorry. I just thought that was
And,
funny as fuck.
I'm going to tell you that if that happened, all the vets I know would vote for
So
that
the
shit.
audience understands. Yeah, someone else posted a link in our group chat talking about a sex created orgy thing.
I also posted the shared chat.
Yeah, my apologies. My apologies. And it was like fucking organized through their team chats.
I can post it.
Okay, can we move off of the absurdity and back into the debate portion, please?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm kinda
Reframe this how
bored.
you want.
Go ahead,
Actually, Pentuple guy has been waiting, and I keep talking.
Go ahead, Pentuple. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Pentuple. You can go, and then.
Does Pentuple have anything interesting to say?
Well, I was gonna ask. It's
damn.
I have something if we need it, but I'll pass. I don't want to. It's whatever. It was just a thing to do.
Okay, great. We can
To
move on.
follow. I'm sorry. My bad.
No,
I don't think it was that hard to follow. I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe the relevance, like connection, but I'm not trying to be like. I'm not trying. It's fine. I'm retarded. We should let Tyler go. Probably. This is like not that interesting.
I don't know shit about the VA. I've been sitting out
things
this
to talk about. Don't worry. Go ahead. So,
I
Grid,
understand
did you
what
want to say
Marley said,
something?
though. Just to be clear, like I get what she's trying to say, right? Is that
Me too. I totally got it too.
Well, if we're talking about government waste,
Well,
you're
all
saying
right,
there's
whatever,
sex
fuck it.
orgies at the
Moving on,
VA. I'm
moving
telling you that if the government waste is sex orgies at the fucking VA, I'm telling you that cutting more funding is going to lead to more sex orgies. If that is a serious argument that someone was
we got
making, I'm
perverse
just responding in
incentives here.
kind.
I'm about
Thank
to
you.
change
I'm
my position.
responding.
Is that
in
a
kind.
promise? Is that a promise?
Yeah.
Cut the funding.
No.
Okay,
Moving
let's
on.
talk about
Grid,
Ukraine.
go
How
ahead.
about that? Let's talk
Let's
about
talk about
Ukraine.
Ukraine. Let's talk about Ukraine.
Ukraine.
And Trump's response to Ukraine. Go ahead, Grid.
Okay.
Thank you.
So here's my issue with Ukraine, right? And I have a question for the other side, right? So Pentuple, we'll start with you since you. Well, first of all, just as a gut check, Pentuple, do you think that the U.S. should continue to support Ukraine?
Right now, yes.
Yes. Okay. Then we're fine. Maybe I don't have a question for you. What about you, Grid?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I was reading my chat.
Do you think that the U.S. should continue to support Ukraine in its war against Russia?
That's a good question. You see arguments both ways.
You're asking us like we're going to assume that can never change, though. I think that's the difference between us is that to us that can change, and to you that can never change for some reason.
Today, I'm talking about today. I understand because
as of today,
I don't think we should abandon Ukraine today.
No,
I don't think we should abandon Ukraine
Zelensky's
today.
been a dick, so fuck that guy. Fuck his whole country.
I do think we have to wrap it up and we have to force their hands to stop the meat grinder of bodies fucking dying. That's our interest.
Grid said something. I want to hear.
Go ahead, Grid. Yeah, let Grid
Okay,
respond.
Can you repeat what you just said?
I said, as long as Zelensky is going to be a dick and enable the meat grinder, then fuck that guy and just I don't want to have anything to do with. I don't want to be involved with someone like that. Why do we want to be involved with somebody that sends his own people into a meat grinder instead of coming to the peace table like an actual human fucking being?
So, do you think Zelensky does not want peace in Ukraine?
I have no idea what the fuck Zelensky wants. Can you tell me?
Sure, he wants peace in the Ukraine. He wants
Really?
the war to end.
Really?
He wants
That's why he
Really?
came over.
You
and
believe
kissed
that
everybody's
after the
feet?
way he treated Trump in the Oval Office?
Right, because I want you to
slide
justify
in
that
a
one.
slide
Rick.
deal with a.
Come on, buddy. You can do it. I have faith in you.
Deal. What he did was he simply talked and he asked JDV.
Yeah, you think, dude? He knew. Dude, Zelensky knew what he was doing. He was trying to gain leverage with the president against the
Putin's invasion. Because remember,
well, he fucked himself, didn't he?
Fighting, right? If Russia stopped fighting, the war would end. If Ukraine stopped fighting, Ukraine would cease to exist. Because Russia.
Yeah, they're being invaded right now. I feel like that's common knowledge, is it not?
You would think, but unfortunately, I have to ask this question because there's a few people who don't think that's the case.
I don't think anybody on this panel is going to
extending the war for whatever reason in order to, I don't know, send people into a meat grinder. What's happening is Russia is sending wave after wave of troops. It has drained its prisons, right? It has conscripted people from North fucking Korea and is sending everything they can to try to break Ukrainian lines. Ukraine relies on outside funding for weapons, ammo, material. They are not asking for troops. They're asking for guns and bullets at this point, right?
Hey, weren't they getting troops from Britain? From the UK?
They were supposed to.
I just saw a headline. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. I don't know what that was.
Peacekeeping.
I'm sorry.
What you're talking about? Hold on. You're talking about like Britain sending peacekeeping troops. I believe. Hopefully, I'm not incorrect here.
Peacekeeping in a war?
No, hold on. Listen. Obviously, you're just reacting. This is after a peace deal has been reached, right? So if you get a security agreement, right, they'll come there to ensure the peace afterwards. So don't react immediately.
Let's go to ICAL.
Also, there are American troops like that are like training on people how to use the weapon systems that we've given them and things like that.
That is
are going
true.
to get pulled out, and so the UK is saying they'll send people in to replace those troops to just do what American troops have already been doing. So that's not the same as like fighting at the front lines or even replacing people who are defending Kyiv or anything like that. Although I do think that may happen in the future. I think France is most likely to do that if that's going to happen. It wouldn't be them going to the front line. It would be them sitting in Ukraine, which frees up some Ukrainian troops to go to the front line, stuff like that.
Okay, so I have a question for all of the leftists who believes that Zelensky wants peace. If he wanted peace, why didn't he agree to the ceasefire? Why did he piss all over it?
He did. He agreed to it.
Hold on. He was going to sign that agreement, and it's not a ceasefire.
Hold on,
That
one second.
Hold on, let me explain.
No, it's money. It's money. Thank you, Skiztech, for the 100 gifted subs. I appreciate it. You're the best. I love you.
That's badass.
Awesome.
All right,
Make
go
the
ahead,
money.
Wick, go ahead.
Okay, but when Zelensky went to the White House, he was going to sign a mineral deal. A ceasefire was not part of that deal.
How do you know?
It was not part of that
Were
deal
you,
because
were
they
you in the
would have reported that it
negotiation
was.
room?
What all that deal did was guarantee that America gets 50% of their minerals and that they would continue to talk, right? Because you need to have a ceasefire. Russia needs to agree to it, and Russia hadn't even agreed to anything at that point.
Russia was offering a ceasefire, weren't
what
they?
Zelensky did was
Were they
he was
not?
willing
I'm
to sign the
asking
mineral
a question.
deal.
I
kicked him
appreciate-
out. He was willing to sign that day.
Yeah,
Trump
I
kicked him
appreciate
out.
the rhetoric.
Zelensky
I really
has
do. I
never
heard you last
refused to
night.
sign the
It's good.
deal.
Okay.
Trump
Okay.
was the one who
I've heard this
cut that
rhetoric.
off.
I've got it. I understand. Can you tell me why he didn't take the ceasefire? Putin was willing to at least discuss it. Zelensky said, they won't honor it, so I don't want it.
Let me jump in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Different agreements.
Let's go to Tyler, then I go to Tyler.
Yeah, let me jump in here because I've been watching this transpire for the last couple of days. Yesterday, Zelensky flat out said that he is willing to come to the terms of a ceasefire. This is the first time the Ukrainian government has actually agreed to a temporary ceasefire deal in order to move forward. So they were never being asked this. This was never part of the original deal. And you asked how we know that the deal was leaked to Bloomberg reporters. We have an article that was out almost a week ago. I read the whole thing. It told you point by point what was in it. And Wick is correct. That was not part of it.
And it's also three different agreements. Okay, there are three things that potentially could be signed. He came to sign the first one, which is the preliminary framework agreement, which was not itself the minerals deal. It was the framework in order to get to a minerals deal. That's what he was there to sign. And the second agreement would have been the minerals deal itself. And the third agreement would have been the ceasefire deal. He came to sign number 1, not numbers 2 and 3. And he wasn't able to sign the first one when he got there. So they weren't able to even get close to the securities guarantee, which is the sticking point for number 2. But for number 1, he was ready to sign that day.
Okay, I'll grant that. But why did he then create the scene?
What a beautiful end.
He just disagrees with the process. He doesn't want 3 stages to the deal. He wants 1 and 2 to be rolled together because he thinks that if he signs 1, he's going to lose leverage on number 2. And he's been pretty open about that.
Shouldn't have been discussed behind closed doors and not in front of the press while he was
absolutely. And that's what Zelensky said when he went on Brett Baer that night. Like, I don't care what Trump said. The points that J.D. Vance and Trump are bringing up are completely legitimate. We just shouldn't do it in front of camera. But what really pissed off Wick earlier, though, wasn't that, like, everyone's got a bit of a more nuanced take than they're giving credit for here once we start to dig into it. What we're talking about more is not that we want to cut funding. It was more framed at Trump's actions right now with Russia are either A, placating him, and you're basically saying he's blowing Trump, or Trump's blowing Putin. I say it's completely normal for a new administration to come in and say, we're going to roll back the concessions of the previous administration to sue for peace. And you might disagree with what some of those are, but like, you're talking about tariffs hurting the economy. That Russian oil sanction's doing more than any fucking tariff to hurt our economy. If we drop that Russian oil sanction,
I looked that up, and it just says he's considering them. He hasn't actually done it yet. He's just said, I'm thinking about it. Maybe it'll happen. I don't know.
If you're worried about the economy, though, because of tariffs, that Russian oil sanction will alleviate all those concerns and more.
Getting rid of it?
Getting rid of it, let it go back into the national.
I want my Bitcoin.
Let me ask this, because it seems like to me that Trump has been very interested in like restructuring the current international order. I, for one, am not a huge fan of international rules-based order. I know that me and Ike have talked about that quite a bit. Are y'all like on the left? Do y'all have big objections to the idea that alliances can change if stuff shifts? I know we kind of touched on this with the Ukraine idea, because I know Temple brought forward the point that hey, some people on the right are open to new alliances. Would you not consider maybe an alliance with Russia against China or something, or some other foreign factor? I'm just hypotheticals. Are you totally opposed to change?
No.
Okay.
But
absolutely, I feel like it's
good. These are the people that you're going to run in 2028. We can never have world peace. Hell no. Fuck no. Over my dead body, world peace.
The thing is that if you want, like,
is Putin worse than Kim Jong-un? Can I get an answer from that from the left?
Yes.
They're probably, I don't know.
Yes.
Probably both shitty people.
Who is Kim Jong-un?
Bro, are you serious? Bro, I had Russian roommates in college. I've never had a North Korean roommate.
Yeah,
you're insane, dude. You've been so you've Putin like it's in your brain, like fucking your brain up.
Putin lives there like
dude. Would you ever want to live in North Korea?
North Korea's
Russia is not a place I'd want to live. It is not North Korea.
Dude, I don't know why you're bringing up North Korea. I feel like that's kind of random.
Because you're treating Putin worse than we treat Kim Jong fucking Un.
I mean,
you guys have this like special standard for him because you're war hungry.
Okay, we're not handing South Korea over to North Korea. We're not saying, yeah, dude, just fucking have it. Actually, we send troops to South Korea.
Charlie brings up a good point here with South Korea, right? You bring up a good point with South Korea. Hold on. Let's actually come back to something you just said here. So we support South Korea. North Korea's not. However, Trump brought this up, and I looked it up, and apparently they do have 4 times the tariffs that we have. This is supposed to be one of our strongest allies. We built this country. We pretty much maintained their sovereignty, and their tariffs are 4 times higher than anything we got on them. It seems a little bit like a fuck you to people on the right. This is South Korea. What do y'all have like objections to alliances changing? Now, I'm not saying that we go
reciprocal tariffs, baby. Reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah, but like reciprocal tariffs, like alliances changing. Do y'all have issues with these as concepts? Go ahead. We'll go to Prime and Charlie, and then we'll open it up from there.
Yeah, I'm not going to die on the hill that like Putin is worse than Kim Jong Un. I think that's silly, right? Like whatever. We can like have a tier list of dictators, right? And
Yeah,
put them
I
wherever
mean,
we want.
I don't. That's why I didn't want to talk about that shit. That was
Yeah,
dumb.
it's
Sorry,
yeah,
dumb.
like we can move past that. But in terms of shifting on, you and I, we already know that we have a different opinions on the international rules-based order. I think that it's something that needs to be expanded and strengthened on. But on the other hand, like I'm with you, that alliances can change, right? We can do that. We have a shifting world, allegiances and circumstances change, and that's actually fine. Um, I want to know like what are we getting? So you said like allied with the U.S. and Russia against China, right?
I'm
Was
just
that
throwing out a random hypothetical,
I
like
know.
maybe 50
Yeah,
years from now, based
I,
on
I,
whatever,
I,
right?
I hear you. I hear you. And that is fine, in fact, right? Like there was that at some point in time, people were talking about like bringing Russia into NATO, right? Like I don't know, it sounds crazy, right? But like these are crazy things that happen, right? But like time changes, and so I'm okay with. I want us to improve our terms of Russia, right? I don't want end this war. I want us to continue like inundating them with blue jeans and McDonald's. That's the path forward. However, I don't know if what Trump is doing actually equals that. And I'm saying I actually don't know. I'm not actually making a judgment here, right? Because all I'm seeing is that like it feels like a unilateral surrender at this point, right? Before we've actually gotten anything solid. Now, maybe at the end of this, right, come back in a year, maybe like Trump's plan actually worked out really well, and we've gotten to a great status quo between Russia, Ukraine, and the United States. But right now, it seems like what we're doing is undermining our ally, Ukraine, for no particular reason other for the like strict benefit of Russia. And if that's what's happening, I'm not for that.
Charlotte.
I mean, yeah, I agree completely. And I don't know if peace is an answer. You have to think about sheer amount of people that have died in the proxy wars between the US and Russia, like specifically in the Middle East and in like Southeast Asia, in Latin America. It's like I don't think that peace is an option at this point. I think it's mostly harm reduction. And again, I'm going to agree with Prime Case here. I don't see how this is a path to peace. It more comes off as like, I don't know,
Surrender.
Trump
It comes off
conceding
as
to
surrender.
Putin.
Just say
It's
surrender.
surrender. We're losing the Cold War. 30 years after
Hold
it's
on, before
over.
you.
Cold War? What?
Hold on, guys.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let her finish.
30
Let her
years
finish. We're
after
gonna go
it's
Vic, and then y'all are
over.
gonna go.
No, that was it. It was
No,
a
no,
joke,
I-
by the way. I know the Cold War is over. That's a joke.
He was worried. He was worried. Wick, go ahead, Wick. I know you
yeah.
got objections. Then we'll turn to the right.
Here's the thing. Like, I want peace in Ukraine. I want peace in Ukraine. And if I thought for a minute that Putin would honor a peace agreement, then okay. Even if we have to make some concessions and sacrifices, okay, that's what I would advocate for. But here's the thing. Neither I nor any of you get to decide when Ukraine stops fighting. The only person who gets to decide when Ukraine stops fighting is Ukraine, right?
No, hold on.
As long
What?
as stop, and as
No, we're funding
Hold
it.
on,
No,
Pip.
we're
Pip,
funding
Pip,
it.
You can go next, but
We can stop sending them money, and they're gonna. They're literally gone. They're gone. They're gone.
Let him finish, and then we'll go to you next, and then we'll go to Grant.
Hold on, no. They're gone.
Yeah, what do you think would happen if the U.S. just pulled out?
It's 30
Death
days.
is not the worst thing.
It'd be gone.
Republicans used to have this saying, better dead than red. Okay, let me ask you, at what point do you stop fighting? When people come into your house, break into your home?
You're basically arguing that they get to decide with our purse what to do?
How?
When
do you stop fighting?
The EU is not funding them enough. Let's say that. They need our money more than they need the Europe's money.
Hey Wick. Are you going to? I like your argument there. Are you going to apply that to Gaza, to the Palestinians? When do you stop?
Are you going to bring up the Palestinians?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
With different things.
No.
Okay.
Viva Palestine.
Hamas is
I'm
also
just
Viva
someone
Palestine.
you can never trust.
Israel, right?
Two-state solution.
Hold on. No.
Let's get into it.
Is also
Two-state
someone you never
solution.
trust.
Make Gaza great again, baby.
No. I'm muting people if I have to. All right, we're not doing that debate tonight. I want to keep my channel as.
Let me in here.
That's not a debate we're doing.
Dangerous on Twitch right now.
Yeah, there's a couple topics that we don't want to go into. I don't want to risk my
Tyler's
channel.
fault.
So we're not gonna do
Tyler
that.
did it.
Yeah, no, okay.
Wasn't
But
me, it was
moving back,
Tyler.
we're going to focus on Ukraine. For example, you have objections. We're going to go to Grant and Tyler. And let's
I forgot what I was. I just
okay, we're going to go to Grant then.
No, it was
Great.
Tyler
Go
was
ahead.
the one that was ready to go.
All right, Tyler. All right,
Yeah, see, we're all throwing off now.
I'm fucking ready. Let's go. Put me in coach.
All right, Tyler,
Put me in
go
coach.
ahead. And then we'll go to Prime. Tyler.
All right. In terms of like these guys, you say these guys are warmongering interventionists. I want U.S. boots on the ground. I want the United States to go into Gaza and take that bitch over. You're arguing with these fucking moderates over here. I am the warlock. Come at me.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing the Gaza debate. We're not talking about Gaza tonight. We're talking about Ukraine. So you say muted. Yep, you're muted. You get a timeout now. Okay.
So
you bad.
Can I finish my point?
Yes, go ahead. Finish your point, Wick.
Okay. Thank you. Great. So the problem here is that there are things that are worth fighting for. There are freedoms that are worth defending, even to death. Death is not the worst outcome in these cases. And for
But this is
Ukrainians,
Ukraine's
and I've
fight.
talked to Ukrainians. I've had Ukrainians on my show. I'm going to have Ukrainians on my show tomorrow who are busy hiding from drones that are coming and exploding, whose
I'm not
friends
questioning
and family are
the
being
valiance
killed
of their
as we
fight.
speak, right? They don't want to surrender. They don't need Trump to help them surrender. If they wanted to surrender, they'd go to Moscow. What they're relying on for us is to help them. And I think we have a moral duty to support them, as well as it's our strategic and pragmatic interest to support them, because the reason we have so much wealth that we do today in this country is because of our world Pax Americana, it's called, right? So we have a global hegemony. We are a unipolar power. That's changing, unfortunately, right? But the fact that we are able to guarantee better deals with other countries, trade flows into us. We are where cheap goods flow into like a river. This has made us safer. It has made us richer. And Trump is giving all of that up. And if Ukraine falls, they're going into Europe next. If Ukraine falls, Putin's going into Europe next. That's my statement. Okay.
So two things. One, to my good friend Gibbs, right? I just want you to direct your attention to our DMs, our DMs directly, right? You list all the things you want to discuss, right? And at the end, you say,
I did mention the Gaza thing, but in light of recent things, there have been. I would like to maybe not do it. You're correct. Yeah. I did include that, but recent things have happened that maybe not want to go into that topic tonight.
Yeah, Charlie, it's pronounced USAID, not you said. I think you said that originally. Just wanted to put that out there.
Sorry, I'm a chronic word mispronouncer.
Can we clarify what it stands for too?
United States American. No, actually, I forget. I'm sorry.
Agency of International Development or something like that, right? Yeah, so like just giving our money to the rest of the world to develop them, right?
Because it's a soft
sounds great.
Thing, dude. It's
soft power. When did you guys all decide to start saying soft power? What the fuck? It's happened like a week ago.
I was wondering that too. I'm glad that I'm not the only fucker on this panel that's like, what the fuck is soft power? I always thought you needed hawk.
Nobody said soft power ever until a week ago. I don't know where you guys get your programming, but
you never read it on the fucking TikTok.
No, dude, I'm saying we've done these panels for 2 years, and you all started saying soft power a fucking week ago. Don't gaslight me. That's exactly what fucking happened.
Not everybody has. ICAL said soft power. Me and ICAL have used the term for months. Being able to talk about soft power.
This is a common term. This is a very common term. I don't think
don't think it is. Yes, no, I get that it's a common term and that it wasn't made up a week ago, but I'm saying you're all repeating it because you hear it and you just hope it's right and that it's the right answer, and it's not. It's not. Guess what? It's not. It's the wrong answer.
It's a buzzword.
No, guess what? The answer to should we give all of our money away to everyone else is not soft power. That's not the answer.
Why is the U.S.
No,
taxpayer
my turn to
responsible
talk.
for all of
Okay,
this shit?
my turn
Why
to
is
talk, right?
just somebody
Which
explain
way?
that to
That
me?
might be how you get your ideas, but like, no, we've been talking about soft power for years on Twitch politics, right? That's the thing. But anyway, moving on.
Soft power.
Okay, right. Don't worry. Look it up in the dictionary. I want to ask our conservative friends though, right? Because Gibbs started us off saying, "Hey, are you guys open to shifting alliances, right? And reformatting like the way the world works." So what I want to ask is, what do you guys want, like individually, right? To Pentemple, Gibbs, and Brid. Sorry, sorry, Brent. What exactly do you want, right?
I want our government.
Hold on, let me ask the question. Calm the fuck down.
God damn it! I'm sorry.
Do you want an isolationist future, right? Do you want America to pull back to not fund allies if they're in trouble? Do you want us to like maybe think focus on our own borders? America first. Is that what you're looking for? Or are you looking to maintain our imperial stance, right? Like our bases around the world, our ability to project force anywhere on the planet, but do that in somehow more limited capacity? What exactly do you want?
Yeah, I think that you identified the spectrum. And I think that right now we want to move closer towards that independent side. Not all the way. I'll admit it's not all the way, because you make a point that we don't want to go all the way in that direction. But we're certainly too far in the other direction, where we're just like, oh, you need this? Oh, some country needs something. Here, fuck it. Here's our money. We just print it. And it doesn't matter. Fuck it. Just take it. $36 trillion in debt. We'll justify it. The party will just justify it. It's fine. Like that's where we're at. We want to just pull this back and be like, hey, if your pitch is that everything's fine, I hope that nobody elects you. And that's pretty much what happened in 2024. So arguing like, oh, manufacturing will never come back. That's probably one reason you lost. This idea that like, oh, we just shovel our money out.
There's a little blue pill for soft power, guys. There's a little blue pill for soft power. My chat just told me that. I assume that they're right.
So this
to be clear, I'm not challenging the concept of soft power existing, but what I'm saying is like you can't just say soft power as a response to like mass soft power.
So
I understand what soft power is.
It's a very,
That's what I'm saying.
very
I'm
easy
calling you out.
explanation.
Okay.
I'm not
It's a very
saying.
easy explanation.
I know.
I'm going to go to Tyler, then I'll give my answer.
That's my chat, by the way.
It's making other countries dependent.
know.
It's a tool. It's a tool of imperialism, and it's making other
Yes, and we should just give our money away. That's the reason that we should just give all our money away, because we can just say that. I don't like soft power is the answer. It just dropped a week ago. New update.
It's why we kind of rule most of the world.
So you're pro like all this interview? You think we have a good track record across the world in intervention? You think we're doing a great job? So then why do we have to keep doing it? Why do you want us to keep doing it? You just said we have a terrible track record doing it.
I can't endorse codependency.
Soft power is giving billions of dollars away for.
I'm not a warmonger.
Okay. All right.
I'm not. I'm not a warmonger.
You are certainly willing to tolerate a lot more war than us.
Well, hold on.
I got to be honest. I can't co-sign on codependency. It's weird.
All right, Grid. What is your response to Prime's question? I want to go to.
I actually couldn't hear Prime's question. His mic is so low that when everybody else is talking, I can't hear.
Did you ask the question?
Yeah, sure. It's low to you. I'm sorry if it's low to everyone. No one told me. But
that's right. Yeah, it's a little low. I think I said something earlier, but
I think it might be the Discord. But I'll speak louder and then I can adjust the mic.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It wasn't a criticism. It was just an observation.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Sorry. So, what I was asking is if like what do you want, right, in terms of a desired foreign policy? Do you want to be more isolationist, meaning?
Oh, I am isolationist. I made that very clear.
Okay.
I think that it's an undue burden on the American taxpayer to be the world police, and we shouldn't do it.
Let me just ask the other half of the question. Okay. Does that mean, if you're isolationist, that you want to dismantle our bases around the world, our ability to project power anywhere, like military power anywhere?
We don't need bases around the world to project military power. Yes. Russia projects military power without a single base outside their country.
No way does it. Russia cannot project power the way we can.
You literally just said that you're afraid of them. You can't have it both ways, man. Come on, don't talk out of both sides. Come on, don't do that.
All right, go to. We're gonna go to Tyler.
China does have a base outside of China, and we're scared of them, right?
There's a few things. I'm going to take a couple shots at both sides, as I always like to do.
Sure. Also, answer his question too, and then I'm going to answer the question. So go ahead.
What was his question in particular?
My question about the isolation imperialism.
Oh yeah, I got a point. I was going to actually go at Grid at his answer about it because I agree with you fundamentally. So, in terms of the major mistake of the Trump admin, I wouldn't say what Wick's calling out as the major mistakes. What I think is the biggest mistake is when Hegseth went on stage in the EU and said that they're taking Gaza joining NATO off the table in a concession speech. Like that should have been left at the negotiating table. That should have been leverage they used and gave up for something else, not just say it and then just, Russia could just say, well, you already gave this up, so screw you. It was just a big fumble on his part. It's because he's kind of a rookie in the position. That's what I'd say is their biggest fumble so far in foreign policy. But we told Ukraine, I'm pretty sure Iko can back this. He's my living Google, but we told Ukraine that if they got rid of all their nuclear weapons that they inherited from the USSR, that we would give them security guarantees moving forward from Russia. So we owe this to them. And when you violate previous promises of the United States on the world stage, you are undermining the credibility of the United States. You're telling the world, we're a bunch of fucking liars and don't trust what we say because in 4 years, we're going to go back on it. And you cannot do that. Trump even knows that.
Can I address
for a lot
that?
of different things.
Just really quick.
I want to get to you because I got 2 things for you so you can double team them. So the second thing I was going to go to is your critique of isolationism. What you were saying there is specifically economically based. So I'd like to know, hearing Trump's proposal for this mineral deal with Ukraine and his proposal for Gaza, where he's talking about these being economic benefits in the long term, does that completely invalidate your critique of isolationism?
No, I think he's wrong about that. I don't agree with everything the man says. I don't have to agree with Trump on this. I think Trump is wrong on many things, especially outside the country. I think that we should be making a move towards more isolationism. I don't know why we provide security for the entire EU and they don't even have to have their own militaries. But that would be, this is and obviously that's a pie in the sky thing. It's not realistic. I want to address the thing and just refresh me really quick on on what your position on that, the Russian thing, the treaty or the Ukrainian treaty. You think that that's still in effect or should be?
We owe them the security guarantees because we gave them to them. Like
right. So we actually signed a treaty on that, and then Ukraine, who was, and I will freely admit that Ukraine was basically controlled by gangsters and oligarchs at that point. We couldn't trust anything they said. Immediately after signing the treaty to demilitarize and get rid of their nukes, they tried to sell them, and they tried to offload them basically any country they could, and we caught them at it, and we said, all right, deal's off. But we're still providing them, and also we didn't say safety and security. We said we would provide support, and we are doing that through funding. So we're not going to send troops there. I really, accuracy matters, especially when we're dealing with something like treaties, and when people break treaties, it's important to understand that treaty doesn't exist anymore. Except on our end, even when everybody in the world breaks treaties with the U.S., we still hold up our end. Why is that? Can you help me out with that? I would love an answer on that. Why do we always hold up our end?
Two wrongs don't make a right.
You said something, and I have a question. Can you show me where Ukraine tried to sell illegally its nukes? I've never heard.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up a 1994.
To be fair, Pakistan hasn't even done that in there. I mean, maybe if you got something, but I would like to answer the question asked as well.
That just sounds made up, is what I'm saying.
It's not made up.
Of course, you can argue about that later. That's fine. I do want to answer Prime's question because Prime did allude to this earlier. I'm not a fan of international rules-based order. I think that it actually has led to worse outcomes, even though it has been more quote unquote peaceful. And the reason for that is we developed like the Cold War, right? I think we now allow, due to the Cold War and international rules-based order, allowed nukes to get everywhere, as opposed to if we had been more aggressive and not had two perennial superpowers, we could have just gone in there and done what we wanted. Because I'm an imperialist. I like Manifest Destiny, whether we buy it or whatever. Because I think American culture is the best culture, and I want everybody to be American. Because the melting pot has created the most wonderful culture in the world, and I think that's what I want. So when we look at things like Panama, as an example, or Greenland, or I would buy Greenland if we could, and then I'd maybe retake Panama like we would. But it's like I don't see a situation where there's not allies that can't always be changing, right? Just because I look at NATO and I see it as Euro focused as opposed to American led. So I right now our goals align. I don't like Russia. I think they're an adversarial power, and been avid for my support of Ukraine. I own a bunch of military-industrial complex stocks, so the war going on forever personally benefits me.
So, one
Y'all might think
question,
I'm a
one question on
scumbag for
that,
that, but
then,
I'm just being honest.
friend. One question, then. So again, like I broadly agree with you that we live in a changing world, and we should be able to change as well, right? However, don't you think there's something to like the people we do ally with being able to trust our word, right? One thing we say, hey, let's like make a 10-year agreement, and at that 10 years, let's like re-up, like decide we're going to re-up. But if we say like we're going to make this agreement, and then within 4 years we drop that agreement, right? Then that signals to the world that America isn't trustworthy, right? You can't take them at their word; it's all pointless. And doesn't that weaken us?
Yes and no, right? And this is the way I look at it, right? I'm going to use the South Korean example that Trump brought up. We get fact checked; it ends up being wrong. You know, I'll eat crow, so be it. But say South Korea actually does have 4 times tariffs or whatever on us, and we're providing basically for all their security. Yes, I think we should like maybe keep the agreement, right? We've agreed to that. They exist because of us. We should keep it. However, I do think there needs to be a reckoning at some point where some of these current deals are looked at and maybe renegotiated, because I feel like we've been too soft, right? As not enough, too much carrot, not enough stick. And I think that's hurt us, like on the international stage, where I see countries have been taking advantage of us because, I don't know, the stupid American seems to be a meme worldwide, right? Why is that? Well, because they're used to dealing with government officials, and I like it's a concern.
That's not why. That's not why at all, dude.
That's not. It's no. It's on account of our behaviors. We're
Oh,
obnoxious.
well,
to it.
both.
Yeah, like
but,
our tourism. They're talking about
like the
tourists and like
it's the
actually dealing with
tourists, not like the
civilians.
government. A government
I
official.
know everywhere I've ever gone on vacation or like around the world, I've been to like 66 countries, and they were all super polite. I was nice. I don't think anyone was obnoxious.
They didn't talk about
they don't always. They don't always treat you like. I lived in Scotland, and they were very nice to me. But my more obnoxious, of fellow American students, they were not very nice to because they were obnoxious and American. So if you're quiet,
but we don't
and
need to get
polite-
argue about the semantics of why people think Americans do. I think partially part of it, at least, is because probably some of it's tourists, but I'll grant that. I was kind of joking when I said the government officials, but I also think the government officials do. There is some truth to that joke. Like, don't help. So I think things should be renegotiated. But I mean, does that answer your question, Brian?
Yeah, you did.
But back to moderate. Who wants to go? Somebody wanted something. I saw hands go. I go. Go ahead. We got about 15 minutes, so here in about 5 minutes or so, I will go to each one of y'all. We'll get closing statements on the thing. But I can go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer your question, which was what happens if the United States changes its alliance away from the EU and towards Russia, for instance. So I just crunched a little bit of the numbers. We got a $28 trillion GDP. Russia has a $2 trillion GDP. The EU has a 23. The EU plus the UK combined has 23 point. That's the other half of NATO. Is 23.5. China has $18 trillion GDP. So if we realigned in a way that allied ourselves with Russia, we're just inviting the EU to then do the same with China, in which case their combined GDP would be 43.2 trillion to our 30 trillion combined with Russia. And we know that Russia's GDP is only collapsing further. Yeah, we can bail them out like a new alliance with the United States would be certainly a boon for Russia, but they're on the verge of collapse. The only thing keeping their economy going right now is this war. Once that war is over, they're going to go into a full-on economic collapse. They could only be bailed out by Trump if that's where his loyalties lie, which
or
I suspect that might be the case now.
They're being bailed out by China.
I think that there's a lot of, you have Zelensky meeting with Xi, and I have no idea what that's all about. I'd like to see more investigation into what that meeting is all about. And at some point, if Zelensky determines that there's really no benefit to doing a deal with the United States anymore, at the very least, here's the thing: I don't want them to ally with China. I want them to ally with the West. And the only part of the West that they can ally with at this point is Europe. So giving the minerals deal to the EU is a heck of a lot better than giving it to China. That may be the choice that we're having to deal with. I think an alliance with Russia would be disastrous for the United States, especially if you're also talking about abandoning South Korea because of this sort of tariff thing that you've.
I'm not. To be clear, I don't advocate for abandoning South Korea. I would like to, if what he said is true, I would like to maybe renegotiate some things, but or
Well,
maybe get these tariffs
renegotiating is
lifted.
a far sight from having an alliance with Russia, which was the scenario you asked us to consider.
Sure. No. Yeah, I also said, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
I know we're kind of speaking in the hypothetical here, but do you really think that if we sided with Russia, the EU would abandon us? Because prior, like the Trump first administration, he was
We abandoned
criticizing.
them already. We're talking
Yeah.
about a 25% tariff with the EU.
Yeah.
I think we're not. I don't think the EU would ever like fully ally with China, but I do think a strategic realignment will be in order if a trade war starts.
Well, prior to
just
this
like
war,
I
though.
think they'll probably offer Canada a membership to the EU because Canada's finding out now that even with a renegotiated USMCA, they can't count on that for more than a couple of years.
Yeah.
Any new deal that they make with Trump will abandon instantaneously. They want access to a market, to a free market that they can rely on year over year, and EU can offer that, and the United States can't.
I agree to some degree. I just when before this war started, the EU was taking in almost 40% of their energy from Russia. They were fine doing absolutely like full sorts of trade with that. I don't think if we normalized Russia and it would isolate the EU to the point of saying, all right, well, we need to go over and deal with these autocrats here in China. I don't know.
Russia has
It's a little bit of a leap.
finally taken our advice and have cut off Russian oil and gas. And by the way, in his first term, Trump was telling them to do that. He was saying, "Stop doing that." That was a moment in which I was agreeing with something.
It's still number two. It's still their second most, though.
Yeah. So now that we're going to bail out the Russian economy and make it so that they can sell oil and gas around the world again, I think the EU, it's finally gotten itself relatively independent in this way. They're transitioning to EVs super fast, and they're also developing their oil and gas supplies, especially in Norway, such that whatever needs they still have going forward for this transition, they're going to be able to get a lot of their oil and gas out of Norway. So I think a U.S.-Russian alliance would be very short-sighted.
Well, they're still number two right now in terms of their energy, getting energy from Russia. The U.S. stepped into the number one spot. They converted over to natural gas, and we became their number one dealer. So, in a way, I've heard people that are against the war, like Jimmy Dore, say like this was the U.S. essentially stepping in and hindering the free market so we could sell our products instead of Russia.
All right. Well,
I wish we could sell our products instead of Russia.
Oh, absolutely.
This new alliance that seems to be developing is not going to be good for that.
All right. Well, it's about that time. So we're going to get to closings. I'm going to have one announcement section real quick. First, I want to thank everybody that subbed and gifted bits today to all the channels. And here, we appreciate it. We love you. You make it so that we can keep streaming for you, the fans. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to give everybody outros here. Tell everybody where y'all can be found. Give closing thoughts on the issue as well. And anything else. Tomorrow, I will be hosting another panel at 7:30 Central. And Friday, you can see me at 7 o'clock doing a comedy bit from Modi 201's dating show. And Saturday, I'm in the finals of Gamers Feud's gaming tournament. So check it out. It'll be good times. Tyler, take it away. Closing thoughts, where they can find you, all that good shit.
Well, Average Debate Enjoyer, Twitch, Twitter, X, and YouTube. Working on a really in-depth postmortem based on polling actions going all the way back to like refugee policy from the 90s to talk about why Biden lost the election. It's super in-depth. I've learned a fuck ton of in researching for it, and I hope to provide that within the next couple of months. Otherwise, working on inventing housing policy based on traditional left-wing policy, making significant concessions for right-wingers based on their critiques of left-wing policy. It's an experimental thing that's going to go through several phases and different panels of different groups of people to get different feedbacks from all of them. If anyone's interested in shit like that, check it out. I also posted in the chat debate a panel on Gaza of why the U.S. should go in, and it was fantastic. 3 people that all disagree on 3 different grounds, all getting along and having a really good discussion. Check that out if you're interested as well. I think I can sway you if you're not for it. Otherwise, everything I said here was right, and these people are inferior to me in terms of intellect, and, it just is what it is. Love you guys.
Thank you so much. Grid One.
Hey, I appreciate I appreciate the invite, Gibbs. It was a good night. Had a lot of fun.
I like your fit, by the way. It's a big fan. Big fan.
You like that? Yeah, thanks. My wife said I needed to look better online because I was wearing T-shirts and stuff like that. So I gotta.
She's right. She's got a smart woman. Anyway, go ahead.
I know she is smart. I wouldn't have married her otherwise. Look, it was a good spirited discussion. Charlie, I'm sorry. I could not really follow your rambling. I wanted to. I tried hard. I couldn't do it. Honestly, Wick, man, you made some solid points. I appreciate most of what you said. Some of us, I don't think that you were acting in the best of faith, but hey, man, you tried. Way to go. And Prime, if I could have heard you, man, I would have responded more.
Hey,
Your
I wish I
mic,
could.
bro.
I would have turned up the mic.
I said something at the beginning.
Early, but
I didn't hear.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's all right, man. And to everyone else, it was great. Especially Aiko, good to see you again. The rest of you guys, I think I've been on panel with Tyler before, but not Pentuple. I like that Pentuple guy. He's all right. So anyway, everybody have a great night. And it was a good time. I enjoyed it a lot.
I like Pentuple too. Lefty seemed to him. Let's go to you, Pentuple. You seem to be a go. You muted.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitch. I will say, sorry for getting animated. I like to have fun. It's nothing personal. I like having the discussion. I thought you guys were. I mean, I like that you guys, the way you guys think. I obviously don't agree, but I thought the panel was fun. So thanks for having me. And I don't really have any points to make or anything to close with. We covered a lot of stuff. So that was
fantastic.
Fun. And thank you.
Thank you so much. iCal.
Yeah. I always have a lot of fun on these panels. I know a lot of the guys here, in different contexts, all have different things to offer. It's a pretty good balance on the panel. Good job.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Wick.
The beacons are lit. Gondor calls for aid. Maga over here is like, well, I don't live there. Who cares? Let them fight their own wars. Sauron? Oh, he's not my problem, right? He seems like that guy. Oh, Gondor is just as bad. Why do they keep throwing their soldiers into that meat grinder, right? Okay. Look, we are a superpower. If we want to retain the riches, the wealth, the prestige, the safety that comes along with that, we need to support Ukraine. We need to keep them from falling, because when they fall, the world will be a less safe place. Wars will spring up across the globe. Taiwan will be next, right? And then Putin will go in to other areas as well. Poland will be on the chopping block. Gang, if you like what I have to say, if you enjoy my rambling, okay, you can find me at Wick TV. That's WHICK TV on YouTube and Twitch. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, I will be having Ukrainian Anna on, Andrew Mercado, Lactoid, and a couple others. And we're going to be talking about the Ukraine situation in detail. So we have Ukrainians, actually, and people who've been to Ukraine there against non-smoker, Lactoid, and the Tankies. Okay, so this should be fun. Check us out. I love you all. Thank you for having me. All of you are, you know what? You were entertaining. Let's say that. Okay.
Thank you, Wick. All right, Prime.
I don't know anything about Sauron or Gondor or whatever that is, but I have heard about these things called White Walkers, and what I know is they're not my problem down here in the South. So I leave that up to the North to fight. But in any case, shout out to our friend Gibbs and anyone else here. Gibbs for inviting us, and then the people that I know, right? I know most of this panel. Nice to finally meet you, Tyler. This was a fun discussion. And Pentuple, I think you were, fantastic. I love animated people, right? And so it was a really good discussion. I'll send you guys all invites, and it's very nice to meet you as well, Charlie. Right? We always appreciate new people in this space. That's what Gibbs is trying to do here, right? Bring in new people. And it can be like very intimidating, but I think you did a really good job. And hopefully we can work together again in the future. I do panels like this and other discussions, right? So React content and anything on my channel. If you liked what I had to say here, if you liked our interactions, or if you want a panel even more crazier than this, then what you should do is follow me on Twitch and YouTube, twitch.tv or youtube.com/primekais, PRIMECAYES. I would love to have you. And again, thank you to my man Gibbs, who's been such a great host.
Well, Prime, thanks for having me. And also, that's why Prime told me to shut the fuck up and not Grid, because he's used to telling me to shut the fuck up every Monday.
Well, I wasn't on there this week. I was stuck in traffic.
Yeah, I was like,
couldn't be on there this week. So
Prime. And finally, last but not least, Charlie, thank you so much for being here. Tell us everybody where to find you, what you do. Also, I know she's looking for people for her stuff going forward. So y'all check out her debate stuff going forward. It's good. It's a lot of different formats, so it's pretty cool. So check it out. But Charlie, go ahead and tell us everything.
Hi, I'm Enemy Charlie on Twitch. I just want to thank you for having me, Admiral Gibbs, and I want to say that I had fun. Sometimes it was a bit hard to follow, I think, just because we were a bit all over the place, but I did have fun. Though, Grid One Motorsport said that my rambling was hard to follow. Out of curiosity, did everyone else feel that way? Did you have trouble?
There was one time. There was just the one time that was like pretty
it was
egregious. I
maybe
thought, but
early
we really
in
don't have to get into it. I think it was just us
The
struggling to
orgy
follow
stuff
the
was
relevance.
weird,
It
but
wasn't
other
like
than that,
you
you were
were
fine.
nonsensical
we could hear you.
and couldn't
It was-
articulate anything. It was just
I think it was
confusing
like
to
when you
us.
got the pen and paper. Once you got the pen and paper, it was all bam, bam, bam.
I thought you did a good job. I didn't.
I would just like to make certain that I wasn't,
No,
you were too nice. You were too nice.
I think we got confused when
the
one thing.
You did
all right.
great.
Well, I'm
You
just,
did great.
like perhaps Grid is acting like he's never heard the term soft power before, so clearly he's not.
Oh, I've
very
heard
well
it.
read. So I was thinking that maybe I
That
might
was
need to,
me.
like,
I
dumb
was
myself
pretending I
down
hadn't heard it.
slightly.
Yeah, that was
that was me
In
pretending
case,
I hadn't
like
heard
that
it.
so I'm glad that the rest of you kept up. That's good. That's good to hear. But yeah, if I do, I'll add you
By the
all,
way, I looked
and the next time
I need
do
a new
like big
closing.
one,
I'm just kidding.
you're all welcome to join.
There's a word frequency analysis tool that you can use on Google. It's called Ngram. I looked it up. Soft power started getting used a lot in political circles around the time of 9/11. So if pentuples like
What a coincidence!
I was 4. That's crazy.
Happened before 9/11, then I can understand.
No, I count. I was okay. Just to be clear, I was just making the point that like this term has like clearly increased in its usage in the last week to make this point that we should. That's all I was making. I'm not saying it's like not a real term or anything like that.
For you.
No,
This is the most feeling of it.
People have said soft power. Yes, people have used the term. I feel like you guys are gaslighting me.
I actually have a heart out, so I will do have to.
I'm on your side.
Charlie, you gonna be streaming for a while after this?
Potentially, I might. I don't know. My shit's being blown up right now, so maybe not. But
if not, that's
possibly.
fine. I'll just make somebody else. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you
But I
so
did
much.
have fun.
We'll get this going. I have to get out of here. I have to go hang out with the Latinas at the dance hall because I'm at the gym. So y'all be
You
be
and Alex
good.
Prime,
And,
let those big booty
Admiral
Latinas.
Gibbs, you got to teach me. You got to teach me.
To learn the dance. My dad told me a lot of things. He's like, son, you ain't too pretty and you ain't too funny. You better learn to dance. Like, all right, Dad, that's good advice. But all right, y'all be good. And I'll see you later. Thank you so much for coming. Follow everybody. And until next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Wow. Whew. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was terrible. Chaotic Truth, if you want to come up, brother, come on up, buddy. Mods, let's get some links going. Chaotic, I don't think has me on Discord, but he has a Discord, so go figure it out. Yeah, it was interesting, right, Dano? That was wow, holy fuck. I gotta be honest, man. That chick seriously thought I had a problem understanding her. Oh man, golly, Bill, what in the world was going on there? This is like the craziest thing I've seen in a while. It was woman prattle. It was like extreme woman prattle. All right, let's get some. What happened to my? There we go. No, it's just a Marxist. That's all. Just Marxist. It's fine. You'll turn on my PC this evening and check your channel. I appreciate that, Will. Good to see you. Most of what you prattled out, I found to be nonsensical. I did too. The silence is nice. Fuck. Yeah, man. Marxist woman prattle, bro. Marxist woman prattle. That's what was up. So you guys, if we can get some links sent out, that'd be great. Be good to get CT up here if he's still hanging around. Lestrange, you can come up. You know, somebody throw Lestrange a link on the chat. Over in the Discordian. Yeah, man, it was lit up in here. It was lit. Tell you what. Yeah, if you guys would like to join me up on panel really quick, come on up. I've got probably, it's only 9:30. I got a good hour in me for sure. It's interesting because Wick is pretty smart, but he says some really stupid shit in a really smart way, so you want to believe him and shit. Yeah, guys, if you want to be on the show, go to my Discord. They'll get the link up in a minute. Go to my Discord and go to the waiting room and just say, hey, I want to be on there. That Saran shit was fun. Dude, he was pulling out Lord of the Rings, motherfucker. That's dope. That's fucking legit as shit. I couldn't believe he did that. I was like, holy fuck, man. What is going on here? That was crazy, man. That was nuts. That was nuts. Yeah, it's all right. It's Sauron. Sauron. Emmett, you can call in. Come on up, buddy. Come on in, Emmett. You got to go to the waiting room. Boulay will get you the link. So I don't understand what they don't understand. I just want a mineral deal. I think he means we can take that and it provide. Yeah. Look, here's the deal, man. Like I don't know what's going on with these people, dude. Like it's crazy. It's nuts. Russia's not our friend, but they're not our fucking enemy right now either. I mean, they're literally sitting there saying they barely have a fucking economy. As soon as the war is over, they're going to face economic collapse. And what? We're supposed to be mean to? I mean, that's like picking on the wimpy kid at school. What's up, Emmett, Ericard Oak? How are you doing, sir?
What's up, Green?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What do you think about that debate, brother? What do you think? What's up in there?
I don't know why you do this to yourself. I'm not be honest.
Yeah, Andrew was last night. Andrew was like, "Man, I don't know why you do this to yourself." I'm like, "Well, it's fun. Yeah. It's kind of fun, man. I beat that, especially when they're getting the shit beat out of them." It was pretty even tonight, though. They made some good points.
the guy at the end pretending to be smart, I would just call him dumb. That would be me.
Yeah, dude, that
woman.
chick. I actually hope that she does come on my show. I invited her on the show because I'm a decent human. But oh god, I almost hope she does come on. Holy fuck, was she stupid? Like she rambled for 5 fucking minutes and didn't say shit. Like nothing, man.
But she's
like I got to use my Matthew McConaughey voice here and be like, that was some fucked up shit, man. I don't know. That was some fucked up shit. Like I gotta tell you that was rookie numbers, man. You gotta pump that shit up.
You just gotta give her some leeway. She's a Marxist. What do you expect?
She's a fucking Marxist, dude. That was really funny. That was like I was in fucking Prime was that like, yeah, Prime.
Her whole thing was
Prime
saying, "I like war."
Fucking simp.
I like
you
war,
could tell
I
who
want
the
more
simps
war.
were on that panel kissing her ass. She wasn't even that good looking. So
her whole thing was, I like war. I want more of it, and
I want to
helps
see
me
people
because I want
die.
it.
More blood for the blood god.
And then I want to spend more money on.
Well, she
stuff.
wants men to die. She wants
Yeah.
men to die.
I
Forget
want to
that.
spend more money on the stuff, even if it's unaccounted for, because it's stuff.
Yeah, because the national debt isn't a real thing.
We cannot,
according to Prime.
We should not run the government as a private corporation because we have to be in debt all the time. Apparently,
Yeah,
it was so dumb. Oh yeah,
it was a massive amount of simping.
Yeah,
like just straight fucking simping. And now look, I understand Gibbs, right? Like Gibbs, that chick, she's in like this whole like Twitch poll group and they have massive following and it can really help his channel out to have her and her friends come on and feel like they get a fair shot because usually when they come on, they get nut punched so hard. And and they just can't even take it, right? So so I get where I really do get where I really do get where Gibbs was, he was treating her with kid gloves, always giving her the
benefit of the doubt.
Well, always giving her the floor to talk and all that.
Yeah, I get it. I understand that you want to have like good relationships and to grow up your channel and stuff. It was just hard.
It was brutal, man. It was like it was so absurd to try and follow her. I mean, like there was no logic in the logic argument. There was no logic there. Her saying the government shouldn't be run like a business because it's not meant to make a profit was the stupidest shit I've heard spewed out of any. Right. Well, the interesting thing is they kept talking about all of these people. All of these people are supposed to be good at their fucking jobs, and I was like, they completely fucking skipped right over that all these congressmen are supposed to be the checks and balances. They get paid $180 grand a year and they all have $10 million in their fucking bank account. Right? And Wick shut his fucking mouth when I said, because I was hyperbolic and I said trillions of dollars spent on cancer research. He's like, well, it's 24 billion or whatever the fuck it was. And I'm like, and yeah, that's from 2016. $24 billion in research for fucking cancer from 2016 to 2022 or 2024. What about the other 30 fucking years behind that, dumbass? Like, what the fuck? Holy shit. By the way, $1 billion in 2016 was a shitload more than it is now. Guarantee you that.
That's true.
So, fuck that guy. Like, and I was like, hey, I was being hyperbolic. I'll grant you that it wasn't trillions of dollars, But why do we continuously spend billions and billions of dollars on this? I don't understand, right? And why are we not allowing private companies to research it? You know, I understand actually why that, but it was a bad argument. But Wick has this thing where he I've noticed that because I've been on this is the second time I've been on the channel with him. He has this thing where he goes in at something and then he kind of backs out, but he's got some facts, you know, and he's willing to ask for facts from you, right? And that's good. He's good. I mean, he's good. I said that, you know, he and I told him, you know, that for the most part he did debate in good faith, but he'll do that and then he'll turn right around a couple of minutes later and total appeals to emotion, total just filibustering and gish galloping all over the fucking place. Right? Yeah, they launder money through their nonprofits. They build in slush funds, in endowments and grants and foundations and shit like that. Politicians are crooked as fuck. And why anybody wants to believe a politician over somebody that's actually trying to get shit done, I have no fucking clue. But it was a good spirited debate. It looks like Charlie has at least tentatively agreed to come on the channel at some point. So I'll get her. Hopefully, we'll get her on the channel. We'll have a great conversation. And because you know, as always, there's no business that gets done on this channel. So you know, that's it. Chronic, he's hyper controlling of his panel. Get off on power or something. You saw he did. Yeah, I did see what he did to Rob. I think there's a couple of different angles to what happened with Rob. I'm going to have Rob on tomorrow night, by the way. Guys, yeah, so listen, for those of you left in the chat, tomorrow night, Rob Knorr, I got to clean up the time with him, but I think it's going to be around 8 o'clock. It may be a little earlier. You know, I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. I think, honestly, we're just going to sit around and shoot the shit and talk about why Orange Man Bad is just driving the Democrats fucking insane, and the Marxist and the Leninist and all of the other motherfuckers.
That's gonna be a good show.
By the way, the reason I wore so I always, you know, you guys have noticed I wear the jacket, I wear usually wear the t-shirt, but you know, I dress up for the show because my wife did tell me I need to look a little more professional. But the other reason was to kind of I kind of really sorry, I'm getting there. We're still talking in a back chat over here. Sorry, I had to respond to that. Fuck, now I kind of forgot where I was at. But
your suit, why do you wear?
Yeah. So the reason I wear is because, unlike Zelensky, I know when to dress well. I almost had my shoulder holster on. Thank you, Devin. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been wearing my shoulder holster a lot lately, so I have to have a jacket. I did take it off because I'm not sure if my jacket came open or something. I know YouTube has weird rules about holstered guns on live. So I didn't want to get anybody, I didn't want to run any trouble. So, yeah. Right. We're halfway through the 2000s. Nothing wrong with the 20s. Nothing wrong with a good coat and hat. Yeah, dude. You got to look cool, man. Got to look cool. A helping hound. You're good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Been a minute since I've seen you in the chat. I'm glad to see you back. Right. Yeah, it's the way it is, man. You got to be based in this world. So, Arakar, how are you doing, buddy? How's everything going? What's new and exciting?
I'm just starting my last semester. I will be finishing school.
What are you studying, man?
Video game design.
Video game design?
Yep.
Nice.
interesting stuff.
That's cool, man. That's cool. You gonna go to work for like Google or somebody? What's up with that?
I'm planning. I can tell you about it. What's my business idea? I'm planning to start business.
Oh yeah. If you're starting a business, don't worry. Don't. That's cool.
The idea is pretty simple. We have a way to make applications. My idea is to get applications on the phone and go to developers and get like their houses in 3D or whatever they want to develop on 3D, and they can take it to their sellers and they can show the house in 3D and get you like a way around the house. Even if it's not developed, you cannot take any pictures. Like you can go ahead and get everything.
Tiki Tac actually works for game studios. He just said that in the chat.
What do you do for game studios, Tiki Tac?
Thank goodness I can't stand listening to people. Arthur Daya, come on up. I haven't had any Arthur Daya in a while. Arthur Daya is. I hope you're feeling obstinate. I didn't get enough airtime on that debate. I really wanted to. Come on up and we'll argue about something. Yeah. I like 3D virtual tours, man. I do actually like them a lot.
Oh, for like MMOs, I think. I'm on the other side of that because I'm studying game art more than.
You're on an iPhone in the hospital. Oh, that's too bad. Dang it. K2, you do need to get a suit. You don't even need to get a suit. Let me tell you what you do. What you do is you go buy a nice jacket. Black, gray. I would buy one of each, but black or gray. I always go with black. Can't go wrong with black. Navy, a lot of people will tell you navy blue. Navy blue always looks like an insurance salesman to me. Can't wear some shirts with it. Black jacket. It's perfect. Single-breasted, 3-button pockets. Nice jacket. Shouldn't be a lot of money. And then you just stick it with whatever your shirt you want to wear. You can wear it with a t-shirt. You can wear it with a collared shirt like I am, without a tie, with the tie, bolo, whatever. You can wear it with jeans. I'm telling you, it's the most useful part of a man's wardrobe is a proper jacket. Just telling you. It's all right, Arthur Dye. It's Arthur. Maybe sometime soon. Yeah. So, who's sick? Who's getting well soon? What's up, Sport Brand? Yeah, and if you're like me, and you're an older man, you kind of losing your hair and whatnot. I still have hair. It's just, whatever. But oh, you thought she was in the no? Arthur Dye is highly trained to be highly trained. She's an educated woman. More woman prattle? No, there's no woman prattle. Actually, that's the one thing about Arthur Dye. Arthur Dye does not woman prattle at all. Where's Jake and Tiki Tac and all the other guys that usually come up, man? What's up?
I'm gonna try not to say anything about that last comment, but I don't believe it.
You don't like Jake?
No, the woman prattle things.
Oh yeah, no, she doesn't prattle. We argue. We argue a lot. She has some feminist leanings that I'm trying to beat out of her. You'll join in one moment? Okay, cool. I'm not trying to literally beat it out of her. I'm just trying, no big deal.
Rhetorically beating. You try to
beat her. I'm trying to beat her to common sense with rhetoric. Yeah, she argues too much to prattle. She's a disagreeable woman. Kate, look, K2, I'm telling you, man, style is easy. Style is easy. Everybody thinks it's hard and you got to go buy this brand or that brand or whatever. I'm telling you, man. You can. Ask Arthur Dye. Ask Arthur Dye what a man in a proper fitting shirt, jacket, and even jeans. It could be jeans. I can wear jeans with this jacket, and people think it's great. I'm telling you. Grid and Men's Warehouse. No, I'm just telling you. Men's Warehouse is fine. I actually bought this jacket at Kohl's. My wife and I went. Wicked Wally should be up here as well. I know he streams while he works. I know that for a fact.
Well, he says that he's on the clock.
So Arthur Dye, I have a funny story about that. So I don't buy designer stuff, right? Like I just, it's not my gig.
You just let your wife buy it for you?
Yeah, my wife buys whatever she wants. So, and I don't really care. So, so like we went, when we were in New York, I went out to buy, I needed a pair of loafers and I needed I didn't need, but my son has claimed my old down jacket. And so I was like, well, I'll get a new down jacket. I'll get and I'll do we'll get a pair of, I needed a belt and I needed a pair of shoes. So we went into Ferragamo for something for my wife. And while I was there, my wife's like, hey, look at this belt. It's a really cool belt. You should get that belt. I'm like, I don't buy belts. What's up, Silvar Ogre? Good to see you, man. It's actually a suit jacket. It's not a blazer per se. It's a suit. It's a minor difference. It has to do with the pocket. It's okay. But I don't buy designer suits. Don't do that. But so we went out and went to Ferragamo, bought a belt. It's a freaking expensive belt. Literally, I have gun belts that don't cost as much. And it was very crazy. And then bought a pair of shoes. Ridiculous. But they are very comfortable. I will give them that. And then, and then we bought it. I had to buy him this stupid down jacket. So
I have to say, every time you dress up, you look like an Irish mobster.
I do.
Yeah, you really do.
I look like a gangster. I look like I should have a Guinness in my hand, right?
Yeah.
Sport brand C. Now, the problem with blue, my opinion, it's just I don't like navy blue. I think blue is pedestrian. It goes sometimes, but I don't like blue. But black. See, black. I'm telling you, brogues. Oxford's not brogues, bro. Oxford's not brogues. So
it's part of being the moist mafia.
Yeah, Oxford's not brogues. And I usually don't wear. Like for shoes, I generally wear like just a pair of. I usually wear like tennis, like sneakers, tennis shoes. I'm getting back into loafers and that kind of thing. Don't do tassels or anything. I mean, you can if your style goes with it, but tweed is good. Yeah, tweed's good. It's hard to go wrong. But it's just. I mean, having a style is not that hard. Having dressing well is not that hard, and it doesn't have to be expensive at all. It really doesn't.
My wardrobe.
The other day, my wife was. I was wearing this. I just come back from working out. I was wearing this kind of workout hoodie thing, and my wife comes over and she's like all leaning on me and stuff. She's like, "Oh, this feels really good. What is? Is this Lululemon? Is this?" And I'm like, "Got it at Walmart." Mm-hmm. She's like, "I hate that you told me that."
Yeah. You could actually find some pretty good stuff at thrift stores if you
Yeah,
target around
absolutely.
like the expensive neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always like just giving away old clothes.
Yeah, absolutely. Silver ogre, just finding things that fit you is nigh impossible for you. Well, you're an ogre, so
That makes sense.
that's right in the name, right? Like, go figure. There's a problem with that.
So about that debate,
Oh, I gotta hear your take. I'm gonna shut the fuck up and listen to Ticky Tack because this is gonna be good. Also, you had a little debate going on in chat too, so gotta hear about that.
It's I hate how these people try to like debate bro in a live chat, and it's kind of like, come on, you only have like 200 characters. You really think any of us is going to make any sort of sensible argument? It's like hop on a freaking panel and let's duke this out.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's like about the whole like them being against Doge and them looking at Elon as some sort of boogeyman. It's like, first of all, haven't we been complaining for at least 30 years that we need to audit the freaking government and reduce the wasteful spending? And now, since we've got it, everybody is complaining about it
because they don't agree with it. So, and that was the thing at WIC was like, well, you get $30 million for cancer research. I'm like, who the okay, what cut would you approve of? Literally, just what cut? And he could. You notice he never answered that.
Yeah,
he never answered that. He just said, "Well, I would agree with some." Yeah, fucking.
I'll agree with the ones I want.
Also, it's the thing is that they're not just going and just like cutting every single like wasteful like what they deem wasteful spending. They go in and be like, why is your budget like half of it's going to quote unquote miscellaneous or other categories? It's like they're not even like filing their receipts correctly. So obviously, if you don't file your receipts correctly and they see half of the money going nowhere, supposedly, it's why not cut it? Like I bet the cancer research, it's like guaranteed the politicians are getting like 20% off of like every budget that they sign going into these universities. It's like they're getting kickbacks.
Absolutely.
Even if they don't get any kickbacks, it's like they're sustaining the universities that are creating the leftists that we are now battling everywhere.
Yeah. Another argument is people tend to be very irresponsible when they're being issued free money. So it's like, why do we want to incentivize government grants towards research? Because they have no real incentive in order to build an actual product. Their only incentive is to be able to get that next grant next year.
Right. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And that's the problem with the cancer research. That's the problem with all of this stuff, is that literally, oh, that's why CT is live right now. Fuck, that dude's probably been on all day. Sorry about that. I just noticed that. But it is interesting, right? That no matter what, it's always more money. It's just like roads. Why do we even have problems with fucking roads, right?
Yeah, it's like that is one of the biggest things that federal funding is placed into, and yet it's we still have a hard time maintaining them and expanding them. I think the only one that's actually doing a good job is Florida, but I think there's other reasons why their roads are so good, is in order to get all that federal funding approved every single year. So it's like not only are they scraping money off the top, at least they're building the roads, unlike some other states where their bridges are falling apart and collapsing.
Yeah. No, I mean, Arkansas is a perfect example. If you drive through Arkansas, it's fucking terrible. And
it's funny that they use the roads as an.
And California, have you ever driven on the roads in California?
Yeah. It's
horrible.
Well, I could explain why. It's like literally like 60% of the budget goes towards like regulation and code enforcement and inspections, because it's like it's like whenever they go and have to like fix a road, they have to get approval from so many different levels of like the county, and this is where like citizens have essentially said like, screw this, we're going to fix our own potholes. And the state code enforcement comes in
what's his
and
name
it's just
did
like, no,
that?
you can't be fixing the roadways.
Rod Stewart did that because he literally got in trouble for fixing the divots or potholes in his street because he didn't want to bang up his Ferrari. I guess, I don't know, but yeah, it was I'm pretty sure it was Rod Stewart that got he got like ticketed or something for fixing the roads.
I don't understand why the government has to, go through red line through the government. That seems so dumb.
I mean, I understand why. I don't like why.
Yeah, I would say that the reasons for it have good intentions, but the government has exploited it so much in order to essentially keep a bunch of government employees and money flowing towards that direction.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's accurate.
Because to some degree, I think it is very important to consider things like, okay, what is our water table? Where exactly can we properly put utilities into the ground? What should be the standard of, putting power lines over into a neighborhood where they don't just like break and like cause fires or something? Like, those are all good things, but for places like California, it's they'll have all these like nature preserve nutwits. They'll be like, ooh, there's this one rare bird that exists like half a mile away from your place, and we're concerned about the blacktop producing too much heat, where they could potentially die. And it's just like, so we have to do a whole bunch of research to make sure it's okay. And like, come on, they come up with some of the lamest excuses as to how to stifle.
I don't know if you know this, but the solar farms out in the desert past Las Vegas in Southern California, they actually have problems with, like, they have birds that basically cook in the air over them.
I
and
actually visited those places. It's pretty cool.
And they have all of these problems, all of them.
The ranges also have problems killing birds.
Yeah, and well, they kill birds. The materials in the panels. So when the panels break or get, and what really happens with the panels out in the desert, which is where it's shocking that they didn't think of this beforehand, but all these panels are out in the desert because that's where that gets the most sun, shockingly. But the other thing you have in the desert is sand and wind.
Yeah.
And it basically sandblasts the shit out of these solar panels. And so they have to replace them all the time. Well, the old panels contain all kinds of weird things like
cadmium,
cesium and cadmium and thorium and all of these compounds that are fucking toxic as shit. And so they literally leak into the and in the desert. All the water goes into the groundwater because it goes right through the sand, along the rock, and ends up in the groundwater.
And they're not necessarily as efficient as people expect. And it's just when it comes to the lifespan, like if you have one panel that goes bad, you're essentially shutting down like 20 panels next to it.
Yes.
So it's like you constantly have to upkeep on replacing the panels and making sure they're working efficiently, or you're losing out on a lot of power. And the thing is that the power doesn't even produce during the prime hours that is needed, which is like in the mornings and in the evenings. It's like it's only produced in the afternoon. So that's where it comes into the energy storage debacle. How do we store the energy so we could use it later? Well, you could do a crap load of batteries, but they did that in Australia. The gigawatt like battery that Elon Musk
Mhm.
built, that was only used to supplement for about like 3 minutes. That entire I think it was just a megawatt battery pack or something. And the reason why they need it only for 3 minutes is to allow the power companies to rebalance their distribution during the high loads, because it took a long time for them to spool up their generators.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting the things that leftists are willing to put up with from their side, but they absolutely cry like women when they disagree with it, even a little bit, or it just makes too much damn sense, which is really something I think is really interesting. Is that when they will disagree with the right when it's making sense.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
You know, Helping Hound is right here too. Those chemicals, those heavy metals and toxic chemicals I mentioned, they don't always go in the groundwater. Sometimes they get into puddles. And those puddles evaporate into the atmosphere, and then the winds of time and change blow them in all kinds of different directions, and they rain down on people as acid rain. It's an interesting problem we have in this country, but it's very interesting. Yeah.
Oh,
I really don't understand. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I really
go ahead.
don't understand why nuclear is like so looked down when it comes to power. I don't get it.
So I think propaganda is somewhat based on stifling nuclear power, but the main reason was the return of investment. So in order to start up a nuclear power plant, after all the large, heavy investments of like hundreds of millions of dollars sometimes, the ROI is something like 15 to 25 years.
I think it's around 15, yeah.
Well, now it is only because of the recent push is because of the data mining industry, or particularly like AI algorithms, cryptocurrency, things like that. They demand lots of power, and this is where the ROI of a nuclear power plant, the only way that you could get the money back from it is to be able to run those reactors hot constantly. Like as soon as you dial them down, it reduces the efficiency of the plant, making it where you're not able to burn as much fuel and have to replace the fuel more often. So the fact that these data centers are now setting up and demanding power, they could run the power plants hot constantly and get the most efficient power out of the nuclear material.
So I thought the thorium reactors actually solved that problem of having to run hot. So you're talking about like the breeder and heavy metal reactors, right?
No, this is just standard uranium. So
Okay,
the thing,
yeah.
it's there's like a butter zone that you have to hit with the nuclear
Right.
with
No,
uranium.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
And running it too low, it makes it inefficient. But I could speak on thorium with you as
Yeah,
well.
the thorium salt reactors are the wave of the future. Like you could have one next door and you'd never fucking know it.
I disagree.
You think so?
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's so the main reason why that it doesn't hit off is because of two things. One is that it takes a month for it to reach criticality, meaning that you're going to wait a month before it'll actually start generating power. Second is that once it starts generating power, it produces waste that is neutron absorbing. So you have to filter that waste out constantly as it's running and reintroduce new fuel. And we still haven't solved that problem. So basically, the only way that we could deploy the system is to have it wait for a month, generate energy, and then once it hits a certain point, we have to turn the power off, drain it, and refill it with new fuel, and wait another month for it to reach its criticality. So there are definitely some technology advances that need to make it, and unfortunately, these are the same problems that we've had since the discovery of it in the 60s.
Huh. That's interesting because I'm looking at that. That's not one of the reasons they list for why we don't have thorium salt. So I'm gonna have to look into that more.
Yeah, it's I kind of got obsessed for it for a while because I thought it was like the wave of the future.
Mhm.
And I just kept noticing that the problems with it when it came to filtering out the well, Mr. Boulay, you're welcome to jump on. I know that we've always wanted to have these types of discussions.
Yeah, let's get Boulay on. Jump up, Mr. Boulay.
I'm curious to know more. I could be working off old information for sure.
Yeah, I think you are because I have a friend of mine who in Utah who really deep dive and it's been like just not like super recent but fairly recent and he's one of those like uber cautious guys. It's just like he doesn't make a recommendation unless it's just like just badass. And he was all in on thorium salt.
Yeah,
he may have actually.
The one reactor that I'm interested in, it's like called the pellet nuclear reactor or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, it's pellets that get thrown into a bin of molten salt. And they just let them heat to criticality to its like max level, and then they just dispense it out as soon as like it's done fueling or it's depleted its fuel.
Yeah, they have a way in and they have a way
pebble
out
bed reactor
from the pebbles. I've seen that before.
Arthur Daya, that is one of the best. I'm going to use that in the future. That is one of the best analogies for what we're doing with in our society today. Flashing money like we're in a club, but we got bills due. That is legit. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, and I don't know where this new narrative has come around where us being like the world's superpower must mean that we should be responsible for the rest of the world in the country, both in like financial aid and immigration, asylum seeking, all this kind of stuff.
I don't understand where they come from when it comes to that. It's like, if you want to be this world superpower, then why don't we tax them? We're the superpower. We're supposed to get money from them.
What? Let me ask you guys a question here, man, because this was something that I kind of made fun of, and I will still continue to make fun of it. Why is everyone talking about soft power? That we want other countries reliant on us. I don't like codependency, bro.
The thing is, I think they're misusing the understanding of like soft power. It's like typically
I'm positive they are.
Yeah, it's like typically when you talk about soft power, you talk about kind of like injecting propaganda along with it, being that you try to inject American culture into other countries that we're good people alongside, like, with the food, the education, all that stuff that you send out, and that's soft power. But we're not doing that anymore. We're just sending money and sending supplies over to countries and just telling them to be like, just saying, figure it out. Because the idea is that the only way that you're going to make alliances with a country is to change their ideology and perception that United States is actually good and capitalism is great. So yeah, it's like we've kind of lost that edge on the idea of soft power.
I disagree that's the only
way. Well, I think it's just a buzzword. I think and I kept telling him that.
It is.
It's the latest buzzword. And I don't think they're using it. I didn't want to get into a deep dive on soft power, but I just couldn't. I couldn't. That was just fun. And you heard me make the Viagra joke about soft power. So I'm going to continue to do that. Every time somebody mentions soft power, I'm going to recommend a little blue pill. So, fix that right up.
Hey, Mr. Boulay.
Mr. Boulay.
Make sure you're ready with the little blue pill. When that moment comes when you're no longer ready to be a softie, but rather be a hardy, be sure to try Grid 1's special little blue pill.
I'm sure you mean hearty, not hardy. Give a hearty laugh. Ha ha ha.
Link is in the description.
Link is in the description. There you go. How are you doing, Mr. Boulay?
I am busy. Oh my god.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Growing the American military-industrial complex. One
as you should.
Time.
What did you think before we dive into what you came up here to talk about, the thorium reactor? What did you think of the debate overall, Mr. Boulay?
The guy with the glasses was what's his problem?
Tyler or Wick?
No, I guess it's Wick because
the guy in the hoodie, the burglar hoodie.
He absolutely hates Elon.
He hates. Look. He tries to act like that he's an educated, mid-range, dim-ish guy, left, kind of left-leaning, but no, he's a rabid leftist, bro. And and the thing is he's a denier. So he will literally say, well, you notice that when the only thing he could ever call me out on was my hyperbole. Like he was like, oh, I did say when I told him about, the Ukrainian gangsters trying to sell nuclear weapons out of, I almost said, you do remember, I believe it was in Murmansk, when we caught them trying to sell fucking nuclear submarines, complete with missiles out of the Ukraine. Remember that?
I remember that.
I believe that was after said treaty, right? Because you could look. Let's just look. Let's put cards on the table before I go further with this. My opinion is that most Ukrainians are good people. Unfortunately, they have been ruled by legit gangsters and oligarchs for the last 30 years. Since 1994, 1990, whatever. Yeah, they made the treaty with the U.S. They were pressured into it. They didn't want to do it. They really didn't want to send their nukes back to Russia. That's what so this is the thing. Russia, everybody thinks that and if I bet if you ask Wick, he will try and deflect, and he will do his best not to admit this. Ukraine did not disassemble and get rid of their nuclear weapons and turn in their fissionable material to the world quarter or anything like that. If any leftist tries to tell you that, they're lying through their fucking teeth. Literally, they didn't disassemble shit. They sent all of those missiles right back into Russia.
Well, I thought we took possession of some of that material.
Because we found it. Because we found it in places that we're not supposed to mention, like I don't know, Iran. I don't know, Palestine. Not supposed to have that. It's interesting that Iran has 4 nuclear missiles that we're aware of, and yet nobody knows where they came from.
That's news to me.
I think Dr. Evil might know something of that. Anyway,
they got it from North Korea.
They got it from North Korea, yeah, right. Let's blame North Korea.
He's just a typical lib today. They don't care if there's any good results for Americans. It's just orange guy bad, therefore anything the orange guy supports or supporting or leading is bad. So any association, cure for cancer, it's bad because Trump found it. He helped fund the AI program that found the cure for cancer. Oh no, it's bad. That's so disingenuous. They just get over themselves. You lost, take the L, regroup, and live to fight another day. Come on.
Yeah, they probably should have stopped fighting about trans issues and abortion.
Oh, see, we had to stay off of that. I was literally warned that. Well, first of all, you heard that chick say that she's queer or whatever.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with just saying you're lesbian? You're lesbian. It's okay. Nobody cares.
You're out of the closet.
Gotta say queer. Can't say lesbian. What?
She probably identifies as pansexual. Don't assume her
Oh my
sexuality.
fucking God. I forgot all about that. You know, I live in such a great place that I have not heard the word pansexual in a couple of 3 years. And now, thanks to Tiki Tac.
It started in my generation. I'm sorry. We corrupted the world.
Oh, and then when he goes into the whole, what's the word, diatribe about Ukraine and providing them with weapons and
we're Russian.
It's like, dude, you know, just before you were making the argument with the whole Elon and Doge things, like, oh no, we need to draw back on the military spending and blah 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 blah. But then when Ukraine comes up, oh no, we need to send them more bullets and missiles, and it's like, what the fuck?
You have to spend more money on the things I want, and then I have to spend less money on the things you want.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting debate, if you want to call it that. I mean, again, so all Wick could do all night was filibuster. Same with Prime. Literally, all the is there a memo out that I haven't seen yet that all of the all the leftist debaters or discussions, when they get asked a question, they're going to filibuster for like an hour?
Well, I thought they want to get rid of the filibuster. But no,
not in fucking debate. They don't. Holy shit.
Oh, and I also enjoyed the young lady, how she was asking you, Grid, about, you know, what your air quote issues were with her, like spurging or whatever the word was.
Gish galloping.
Yeah,
and,
you know, and I'm like, I was thinking,
yeah.
I'm looking at you on screen, and I'm like, yeah, she's got daddy issues.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, it's interesting though, because I purposefully called her out for just fucking rambling. Like, why would I not? Like, she made no goddamn sense. Like, it was absurd. It was absurd to subject all of my viewers to that nonsense, other than the fact that it was good humor. But, you know, beyond that, everybody's like, well, I'm now dumber. I'm entertained. I'm entertained. It's kind of like watching TikTok for 4 hours condensed into 5 minutes of bullshit.
So you're up on panel, you know, working your magic, and then Tiki Tac is having some kind of, you know.
I know. We got to get into that. I almost forgot.
You know, chat warfare. And I'm in the chat like,
did that guy rage quit?
I was almost ready. I was almost ready to time that guy out, seriously, because it was starting to piss me off.
He was definitely trolling. Yeah, he was just there to argue. He wasn't there to have any substantive information. It's the thing is that he was like demanding, like, oh, what is the exact number that Doge has like saved us in contracts and stuff? And it's like, come on, dude. It's if you listen to them, they say their estimates is going to be between 3 to 4 trillion in savings by the end.
Wait, Tiki-Tac, you said the key word, estimate. Okay, nothing has been implemented. The only authority that Elon and Doge has is look at the numbers, write a memo, and say, here's where we can save money.
Yeah.
That's it.
They didn't get their TPS reports.
You know, and contrary to what everybody thinks, Elon does not have the physical ability to go to the Department of Treasury and say, you stop sending money there. He cannot do that.
Yeah, he's essentially a private consultant right now, right?
Exactly. He's a consultant. He writes memos. I know something about that.
I don't know. So Wick's been interesting to deal with the last couple of days. After watching the garbage that he pulled with Rob Noor, I found, you know, and you, I don't know if you caught it. I called him out on being disingenuous, and he didn't address it in his closing. Because, I mean, what was he going to say? Like, I wasn't being disingenuous when I sat there and rambled for 5 fucking minutes on nothing. I think it really annoyed him that I would be like, "I'm sorry, you rambled. You're going to have to pick a point for me to address."
Did you see him cry today that he can't find any conservatives?
I really like that pentuplet dude. That guy was fucking cracking me up. Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
that's what Imperius should be. That's a proper lawyer in a debate field, ladies and gentlemen. Imperius, take note, baby.
Yeah, he's really good at getting his words out.
Yeah.
No, that guy was all right. That guy was all right.
He's all right. Yeah, no, he had it. He had it down.
Yeah. Well, you know, but credit to the lady and Wick, not John Wick. Well, he definitely not John Wick, but credit to them for being at least on panel and taking the licks and sticking it through. So credit to them. Because honestly, I mean, I'm not big in the debate sphere and all that, but in my opinion, it seems like you're seeing fewer and fewer libs or Dems that are really standing up and, debating or trying to, do what it is that they're going to do to try to fortify, the left. And I'm not seeing a lot of it. It's just they're getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And with the loss America finally waking up to the reality of what the media is, and they're losing that support, they just don't have that, support that they once had, through legacy media to get the message out. So they're starting to fall apart, and there's no clear leader of the party. There's no path forward on, okay, we got to, consolidate, regroup, and then, what are we going to do next? None of that. They're still infighting and, and just, the gnashing of teeth. It's great.
Well, guys, I hate to call an end to it, but I've been on since 7 o'clock. So
We didn't even get into the subject Mr. Boulay and I would be duking out on.
Oh, what was the subject? Let's hit
thorium,
that.
Thorium reactors.
Thorium.
Oh, thorium reactors. Let's hear about that.
Before we get into it, I just gotta leave. So nice meeting you guys. Have a good one. Thank you for having me on Grid.
Hey, night, buddy. We'll see you. RPG makers.
Emmett, if you ever want any consulting on your ventures into building games, just hit me up.
Will, thank you so much. Have a good one, everyone.
You too.
All right. Thorium reactors.
I think this could pretty much be summed up on one particular detail, which is the claim that it's hard to remove the spent wasted material, which is neutron absorbing. I think from that it'll pretty much lay the groundwork of if thorium is possible.
Well, I thought that's what an ion exchanger does in a standard boiling water reactor or pressurized reactor.
Okay, so when I'm talking about a thorium reactor, I'm talking about the molten salt reactor. So essentially, the thorium is already mixed in with the molten salt in itself, so you essentially have to perform the chemistry on the molten salt while it's hot.
Yeah, just like a standard boiling water and or pressurized reactor. Yeah, they all have a pressurizer, which helps. Well, pressurized reactors have a pressurizer. I'm getting ahead of myself. The ion exchanger. Okay. Yeah. For my understanding, even with thorium reactors, they still need an ion exchanger to sample the primary loop so they can see what's going on in there chemically, so they can either add whatever chemicals they need to bring the fluid to whatever normal operating state it ought to be in. And also, the ion exchanger is also to help filter out the crud, which is being built up as a result of the fuel being spent. And that stuff's floating around. So the ion exchanger collects that up. And typically on a pressurized reactor, which is what I worked on mostly, when the ship goes in for an overhaul, they typically secure that, remove it from the reactor, and install a new one. And then that ion exchanger is then sealed up and then sent off to the deep vault for permanent storage, and
Yeah.
it takes up very little room, especially on the reactors that I work
Yeah,
on.
the thorium salt reactors are really tiny. So maybe you know this, Mr. Boulay. The rumor or the reputation is that the thorium salt reactors, because they do have that ion exchange, produce more usable. I believe it's plutonium 234 than a standard reactor. It's more enriched.
Oh, is it like the same ion exchangers they use when like separating hydrogen and oxygen from water, or like a similar process?
Well, I separate.
I think that was part of the. I
Are
thought
you
that was.
talking that sounds more like electrolysis.
It is somewhat electrolysis, but there is a particular material line where it allows the electrolysis to happen without the two liquids being mixed with each other. It's the ion exchange membrane.
Yeah, an ion exchanger, typically in a pressurized water reactor. This membrane material you're talking about is typically these polymer beads. Is the best way I could describe it without going into
it's the same thing.
details I can't say and talk about.
No, I think it's the same thing. I'm talking about the same thing here. Yeah.
Yeah, the thorium salt just uses less overall water.
From my understanding, going back to the thorium reactor from the Los Alamos back in the 60s, the problem, they got it to work. But the issue was, one, it was so expensive for them to create the materials needed to actually make, for the proof of concept kind of thing. And so,
well, hold on. Let's make sure we're talking about the same thing. I'm talking about thorium fluoride salt reactors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is what we're talking
that's
about.
the primary fluid in the primary loop.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because in a pressure, the reactors that I've worked on is all water based. So yeah.
And because of the lower radioactivity of thorium in and of itself, and it's much more prevalent, that's one of the reasons why it has the ability to be a smaller footprint, but put out very good power once it's in the thorium fluoride salt bath thing, whatever.
The back in the days of the Soviet Union, the was it Alpha class. NATO designated it as the Alpha class fast attack subs that the Soviets built, and it was a thorium type reactor, and it was a liquid metal primary loop, and that sub could haul ass underwater, and that says a lot for a fast attack sub.
Yeah.
The flip side of it though was super fast, but it was super loud. So any of our fast attack boats could easily pick it out of the water if it was doing a high speed transit. But it worked. The Soviets were able to build an operating thorium type reactor in the Alpha class subs, which are, as far as I know, out of service now. But I admit I am not up to speed on what's been going on with reactors, since I've left Newport News Shipbuilding. But from my understanding, it's just a matter of, has the material gotten to the point where it can be, we've taken care of these inefficiencies with thorium, because in theory, thorium is, it can mitigate the risk of a runaway reaction. And that's the problem you have with water-based primary loops in reactors. If you don't watch what your operating
they're super safe.
Operating temperature is, you can have, in essence, a runaway reaction, and whereby you have to scram the reactor, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
For the public out there, this does not mean the reactor is going to detonate into a mushroom cloud. No, nothing like that. Now
it just melts through the ground.
Exactly. It just. I mean, you're going to have all the other things, but no, it's not going to detonate like, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Nothing like that. No.
Well, I think you brought up a very important key that I didn't consider is the ion exchange membranes and how they could potentially be involved in molten salt reactors. So I guess that's the next subject I would have to research into, see
Yeah, me
what
too,
innovations
just
have been made.
Well, let's table this really highly technical discussion for a time when I'm not half asleep.
Sure.
You guys have been great. Ticky Tack. It was awesome when I could catch glimpses of you kind of going back and forth with Liquid Sword, who was here the other night as well.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where he came from, but he really I don't know what the fuck ever.
My
That's an
suggestion,
RDB.
keep them around, don't block them.
That's actually Sport Brand's pretty good. That is an Keltec RDB, not RFB, and an AR-10, and above that is a standard AR. So that's pretty dope that he figured that out. So,
friends don't let friends buy high points.
Right.
Right, Clover Tack?
Did Clover Tack make it in tonight? I don't know.
No, I haven't seen him in a while.
So last thing is Sport Brand. I'm a successful Irish mob boss. You can tell by no broken nose and no cauliflower ear. So obviously I'm a successful Irish boss.
You really do look like an Irish mob
I know, right?
You really do.
I really think you should keep that look.
Yeah.
Oh, I am. I mean, this is my wife was like, "Hey, why do you dress like a goofball on your show?" And I'm like, "I didn't think I was." And I mean, she wasn't wrong. I mean, she wasn't 100% right either. But I see the point of wearing at least a nice shirt and short and a tie. So
we were playing drinking games with at the debate con. So every time we saw the back of your head with your hat on, we take a drink.
That's funny because every time Alex Stein called Jasmine Jafar a whore, I owed him $5.
Did you pay him yet?
No, he doesn't. He keeps telling me not to send him money, and I'm like, dude, I owe you $65. It's 13 times he called her a whore in a 2-hour debate.
At least he's a good sport.
You should take that and donate it to the charity.
I should. For the kids that don't read so good.
No, the Big Booty Latina's fun.
Big Booty Latina's fun. That was funny. Yeah. So, all right, guys, I'm going to send you over to CT. He came in and he wanted to come up on the panel. I couldn't let him up because obviously it was my panel. But we're all going to go over there, so you're all coming with me. At least for a couple minutes, I'm going to go over there and appreciate everybody. Appreciate the guys who came up on stream. Glad you guys enjoyed the debate. Hope that everybody will join me tomorrow night for Rob Noor. Rob Noor will be on. We're not debating. We're having gentlemanly discussions. I hope that he has an alcoholic beverage because I think, well, actually, he's a recovering alcoholic, but he drinks a little tiny bit. So hopefully he has just a little bit. And I'll see you guys over at CT. Remember, guys, be cool, wear glasses if you need them. And most importantly,